it foggy outside. All the planes have been grounded. Ain't the fire inside? Let's all go stand around it. Funny, I've been there, and you've been here. We ain't had no time to drink that beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sandman podcast. I am your host, Brian W. Tosh, joined as always by our resident hack checker, Oliver Fullington.
Yo!
Our producer and co-host, El Hilo del Hack, Tyler Fullington, and the man whose stories got stories.
But lungs aren't clear.
The hardcore icon. He's got 99 problems, but bananas ain't one. Hack, how the hell's it going today?
Dude, this is like one of the best days of year because there's baseball opening day. There's so many possibilities. Like everybody's all hyped up and shit. You know what I mean? I mean, for most people, it's downhill from here, but opening day's like great. I wish I was at the game.
Opening day baseball wanted like.
And I don't want to go to any games. I didn't want to go to the playoff game last year.
You did not. We had to drag you to get you to go. You did not want to go at all.
Great game.
It was a great game.
It was the only one we won in the Mets series.
It's right. It was the only one we won in the Mets series. Phillies, obviously, big expectations for the team this year. Obviously the Dodgers are the big favorite in baseball. They're like,
dude, I think the Mets are going to be strong too.
I do too.
And Soto.
Their pitching's not that great. Their pitching's hurt right now, so we'll see how that ends up. But
their lineup's very nice, and the Braves obviously getting everybody back. You're going to have Strider back in probably about a month or so. They're going to be really good too.
The Dodgers are an injury away from being human again.
Their lineup looks insane right now. I mean,
I don't know about that, but if there's an injury on him, I want it to be Ohtani again.
Yeah,
but I want to see him first.
I know, but if our lineup's like on and hitting, we could stand up to their lineup. I think
we can, and I think I was looking at the odds for like the World Series and the NL. They're like plus 150 to win the NL. It's like
that's a joke.
It's a
freaking joke.
I've never seen anything as low as that.
Maybe Cincinnati back in like 75,
the
76.
Big Red Machine, yeah. And okay,
they're minus
teams
800
like
to win their division.
That's crazy talk.
On FanDuel.
That is crazy.
And it's not
my God!
And it's not like the Padres and like Diamondbacks are slouches.
Even the Giants did a little bit in free agency, so I don't know. I mean, look, they're obviously on paper like an insane team, but whenever you have expectations that are that high, it's almost like hard to. Their World Series or bust. Like that's the expectation point for that team.
That's the expectation for the Phillies.
No, you're right. You're right, Ollie. I mean, like, we've been down this road a couple years now.
Any team who's in contention, that should be your thought process.
I'm pretty
it's
sure
World Series or bust.
I'm pretty sure we have a higher payroll than the Dodgers, too.
Well,
is it the Yankees that us in payroll?
Well, that's because Ohtani's getting paid $1.5 million.
That's true. Yeah, he's deferred all that $78 million into 10% of the company in a couple years.
And had a fall guy for his betting addiction.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he just got 5 years.
Yeah,
he did.
That guy's gonna come out so rich, dude.
I know, but if it was really what we all think it was, then 5 years ain't nothing. That dude's taken care of for the rest of his life.
Yeah. 100%.
I don't know if we'll ever know what actually went down with that, and
dude, how quick did that stopped being talked about?
No, it was just forget about it. It's the greatest baseball player ever.
Squashed totally.
That's why I think the way that I think. Like
I agree with that, Ty.
That literally went away.
Yeah, there's a reason it got squashed. She didn't hear about it.
Boom,
because it was the marquee player of this freaking century so far.
Yeah,
possible face of baseball.
I would say he's the face of baseball. Yes, he's the face.
There's a reason the first 2 games of our season were in Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah, and they got apparently giant numbers over there, like bigger than the Super Bowl here.
Dude, there. Yeah, the tickets were more expensive than the Super Bowl to get in there.
Yeah, it was
like nosebleed.
Well, and they got the other Japanese pitcher that they signed. What's that?
Sasaki.
Yes,
and Yamamoto.
Yeah, so they have.
Yeah, right.
They have a huge following over there, obviously. So yeah, I mean,
it's still the national pastime in Japan.
Baseball,
it's not the national pastime to most people, to me, in the United States, but in Japan, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, football and basketball seem to have taken the conversation away from baseball over the last like 20, 30
in
years.
the United States.
In the
But
U.S.
They ain't got basketball and football in Japan.
No, they don't. And even here in Philadelphia, I would say, the Phillies are no worse than the second biggest team in the city. And in a lot of the biggest cities in the country, New York, the Yankees are the biggest team in New York.
Dude, if the Sixers, let's say the Sixers made it to the third round of the playoffs once in the last like 3 years, I think they take over freaking as two.
They're the Phillies and the Sixers are neck and neck.
Yeah.
Like, it just depends who you ask
Whoever's
on
having a
what's
better
going
year,
on.
too.
Yeah, like they're pretty much. Philadelphia's a great basketball town, especially like high school basketball, college basketball. Like me and Oliver have been to a couple high school basketball playoff games. The Catholic League, the Public League this year is really good. I don't know how many.
A lot of Division I players.
I was going to say I don't know how many Division I guys that we've seen are getting recognized over there. So it definitely is a basketball-rich town. But the Phillies are as old as time, and I mean, they have the most losses in Major League Baseball
Yes,
history.
we do. Over 10,000.
Yeah,
That was 15 years ago.
right.
That's
So
what everybody in Philadelphia is watching in the summer.
Yeah, you got it. Look,
Every
Phillies.
single night.
Down
Phillies
the
on every
shore,
single
whatever.
night.
Yeah.
We were talking before too. We're so fortunate that we have such great announcers in the city as well. We got Tom McCarthy, John Kruk, the radio, Fransky in L.A.,
Merrill Reese.
Merrill Reese with the Eagles. Yeah, we're very fortunate with
Dude, I
the.
wonder when he's going to retire.
did you say McCarthy?
I
Or
did.
not McCarthy? McGinnis.
Oh, McGinnis with the Sixers.
McGinnis, great.
Solo.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
a solo radio guy for an NBA. For our
He's
NBA
Joey
team.
Styles.
He is Joey
Yeah,
Styles.
he's
of the
literally a
Sixers.
solo worker.
Yep.
Play-by-play, color, the whole deal.
It blows away that idiot dude and the chick.
Oh, I don't mind them actually.
Abdul
Hack
Nabi
hates
is the
him. I
biggest
don't-
idiot on the
yeah,
planet.
I don't mind him.
hate that
And Kate
I
Scott's.
do miss Zumoff. but-
I mean, Zumoff
Yeah,
with the
Mark.
yes.
Zumoff- I mean,
Zumoff is the great. I mean,
yeah.
obviously, Mark Zumoff. I know he's enjoying retirement, but
Hold on, Oliver. We're coming in for a landing.
yeah, I love. And when he lets out a yes, I mean, nothing was better. Yeah. So
We're on the seesaw.
we're not hearing any of that
Sixers
this
trying
year.
to lock all windows and doors.
Yeah, there you go. Get all the cliches.
The
in for
zooisms.
The zooisms. But now we're excited to have baseball back, obviously, and hopefully the Phillies season goes a little bit better than it did last year, losing to the Mets. That was certainly
Hopefully
a
we pull out a
heartbreaker.
win right here.
Yeah, hopefully we pull out a win here. We're currently in the top of the ninth here against the Nationals.
Thank God it's early in the year and Gore got pulled because he had 150 strikeouts against us in 6 innings.
Looked like Nolan Ryan
Yeah.
against the Phillies through 6 innings
Really?
with 12 strikeouts, man. Just incredible day. This week on the show, we are reviewing WrestleMania 17. So this was a giant show. It's probably the capper of the Attitude Era, and it's a really interesting time in the industry
Dude,
where
it's an ECW show.
Kinda.
It
I
is.
thought
If
that-
you think about
I
it,
thought
Vince
that
had
the
just
way I was-
bought WCW. Look at all the ECW guys that were in it. Look at all the blood was there. How many matches went outside the freaking guardrails?
well, that was kind of the
that was an
Attitude Era.
ECW show, though.
And who's on the call for the show? Paul Heyman's doing the commentary.
And
JR
I also thought some of the way that the matches were like choreographed with some of the melee stuff going on, like
A fake room set up.
We'll get to that match in a little, but
Yeah.
I gotta put you
There's
over.
two of them.
I gotta put you over, Hack. So this is a point in the industry where, WCW is just about dying. They just died. ECW just died the month before, and I got to give you some credit. So this is a clip I'm going to play from a shoot interview shortly after ECW went down and before WCW went under, and it's a prediction that you made. And I hate to do it, but I got to give you credit for this. So
Oh, God.
here we
You see
go.
Ty's in Oliver's face right
I'm
now.
not necessarily sure. Well, look at it right now. Vince was doing, what is it? It's 2000. It's March 2001. Let's go back to March 2000. Vince was pulling 8.5s. Vince right now is pulling 5.5 if he's lucky. Now, take away WCW. Now you're not allowed to. Now you can't click that channel. All of a sudden, The Rock, Stone Cold, The Undertaker, Kurt Angle. You can't watch those guys every single night of the week. So WCW is going to go on. And this is another thing about misconception about me. I know this business. I know how it works. If you don't have competition, Vince might get that extra 1-point rating from all those hardcore WCW people. But you give him 6 months without another company, he's going to be pulling fours because you're jamming the same guys down everybody's throat every single week. If you can't click over to, how many times can you watch The Rock work against Kurt Angle? You know what I'm saying? How many times they switch it up with 6-mans and stuff like that. But if you don't have competition, you need competition for this business to work. If Vince doesn't have competition, I guarantee you he will be pulling fours come September.
Okay, Hack. So come September, you nailed it to a T. WWF ratings, they were pulling fours come September. You predicted this way in advance. You saw it coming.
Because I was taught by the right people. That was from Dusty, Kevin, you know what I mean? Those guys just, dude, I got goosebumps. You just love being around them because you're absorbing. You're sitting in a locker room and you're not in class or anything like that, but you're learning a shitload.
Well,
just being around those dudes.
I mean, you completely called it, and what we see transpire over the next 20 years until AEW came around is without competition, WWE, I'm not saying they didn't do well business-wise. They had their successes, but they didn't go into another giant period until they got competition again.
Well, because there is those, dude, the 7-year itch is called a 7-year. Somebody knows something about it when they actually called it there back in the day. But there's down cycles in the business. Dusty would say the same thing as Kevin would. Dude, there's only that hockey stick comes every 10 years. You know what I mean? But you're gonna face 7 of them down.
Right. Well, we're now in the, like you said last year, we're in the up portion of the business.
Yeah, dude, we're
and I think a large part of that is because of the competition. And part of this show was like, this was the final show for WWE in the Attitude Era, and business took a downturn from this show after. And a large part was the booking, and a large part was the lack of competition. So it's just like a really interesting time in the business. And I got to give you kudos for nailing that prediction, man, like to an absolute
All
T.
I had to do was listen.
I mean,
that was Dusty.
Well, a lot of people don't.
A lot of people don't, and you nailed that prediction. So got it.
That one probably more came from Kevin than from Dusty.
Well, I mean, geez, you hit it right on the head there, man. So this show was in the Houston Astrodome. It was their first stadium show for WrestleMania since WrestleMania 92 in the Hoosier Dome. And yeah, it was the peak Attitude Era. They had 67,000 fans there. It was just...
The setup was cool.
So cool. And the way it was lit, and it had a big show feel to it.
Wait, what year was the pay-per-view?
2001.
You're calling that the peak? I thought the peak of the Attitude Era might have been like 2 years or maybe.
No, because after that, their attendance, their ratings, everything was going down after they purchased WCW and you guys folded, and they kind of absorbed you guys as well, or at least a large portion of your talent base. They did the invasion in the summer.
So what year was X-Pac, freaking Sean, freaking what's his name, all like formed?
DX was formed in 97, but the DX you're talking about with X-Pac and Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, China, Triple H, that was 98 to 99. So that already had taken place by this point. So you're now looking at, this is
that's when they grabbed that 85 or 83 straight weeks of WCW in that like 99.
That 98 period into 99 is when WWF got super, super hot.
Right.
Led off of the WrestleMania 14 with Mike Tyson being in the main event as the enforcer for the Shawn Michaels, and Austin won his first belt that year at Mania. So now you're WrestleMania 17. It's a couple years later. Austin's been running for a while now, and that's kind of why you saw some of the booking in the main event, which I think played a portion of how the business went down after this show. So the show started off. You got Paul Heyman on commentary with Jim Ross, and they were such a good duo back and forth. Paul throwing jabs at JR throughout the show. I always liked them as an announce team. They didn't get to call a ton of action together in WWF, but they worked together previously in WCW. They were a great duo.
It was great. Like Paul was heel, but he wasn't like too heel.
Yes.
Like I feel like the later the show got, the more heel Paul kind of got, like a little bit,
yeah.
like a little bit. But yeah, it wasn't like too overbearing, or anything like that.
Yeah, the show opened up with Chris Jericho taking on William Regal. This was a fun match, man. I really enjoyed Regal's work in this for an opener. How long did this one go, Ollie?
7 minutes, 40 seconds.
Yeah, it was kind of like in and out, but I enjoyed the work.
There was something going on every second, dude. This was just like the biggest thing that I noticed right away is Regal doesn't bump unless he has to. You just watch him. The dude can do a whole match if he's the heel. You got to bump and once or twice is the heel. You know what I mean? But that's it for him. Fit Finley used to be the same exact way, dude.
I love Regal's work. Like, Regal is just such a master craftsman in the ring. All his holds look so tight, and his strikes, his punches, his forearms, everything looks like a purpose to it, and it looks like vicious and violent.
And to me, it's not Regal's kind of match.
No.
It's not. But William, dude, when he climbed the top rope and gave a suplex, I'm like, I have never seen William Regal even on the second rope.
Oh, he would do the double underhook suplex that he did. Yeah.
Not a lot, dude.
I was in his repertoire. This match, Jericho was just going hot early. He missed, or he didn't miss, but he kind of
He jumped right over Regal's head over the top rope in the beginning.
Yeah, he almost killed himself there on that one. That was
Regal he barely touched the top of Regal's head.
Yeah,
but he didn't give Regal enough time to back up for that.
I think he was a little.
It looked like Regal stepped up to me when I watched it, but I could be wrong.
I think he was a little I don't know if nerves got to Jericho a little in this match, being the opener, but he looked a little sloppy at some points with his elbow. After that, he looked a little. I don't know if I would say he looked nervous, but it was kind of not on the same page. But Regal took over. He was working on Jericho's shoulder, and then
that was nice.
It was just
did it the whole match.
Yes, I
and
really
it was nice.
enjoyed that.
Heyman talked about the shoulder too beforehand, and then lo and behold, he throws him into the corner with the shoulder and everything like that. It was good timing on that.
Yeah, it was really good. Regal then hit him with a German, and Jericho did this wild flip bump off of it.
Great pump.
He almost landed right on his head. And then Regal was working over the shoulder some more. And then Regal hit the underhook superplex off the top rope for a near fall. And then Regal's going for his stretch, but Jericho hit the ropes, and then he went for his comeback, got a lion salt, and then it was over. So it was kind of in and out. I liked the work in this. I don't think it got to a level where you gave him enough time where it got to be a great match, but for an opener, this is a 3-star match for me. Ollie, what do you give it?
2.5.
Okay. Hack?
All right, one of my notes is, if you watch this match, you know how many times I hate it when people stand there and wait for somebody to get to the top rope and just look at them the whole time. This whole card is exactly the opposite of that. Everybody's taking those big freaking circles back. It's like you look through your leg, you see he's on the second rope, then you start your circle to come back to him. 2 steps in, he's off the ropes, he hits you, dude. Just the whole card was like that.
Yeah, timing's just such a lost art in all that.
Totally. And I think everybody on this show, like you said, they had it on this show. They had it.
Well, dude,
it's a lot of veteran. Even at that point, in 2001, there's a lot of people on this card that have been around. It's not like a lot of young people. Even at that time,
you're great.
Right. So, I don't know. I just feel like timing's just such a lost, lost art in the business. We talk about it constantly. It's just.
Oh, I'm giving that match a 4 easy.
4. Wow. Okay.
Well, I like the dynamics of it. You know what I mean? I liked it that it was a great opening match. Yes. Perfect time. Everything. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Ty, what do you give it?
I don't know. The finish kind of came out of nowhere for me. It was a little.
Came up on you quick.
Which is okay to me. Yeah. In an opening match.
Yeah, it was fine to me. It was kind of unexpected, but like you said, there was a little bit, like with Jericho, it was a little bit off, a little bit something. It wasn't as good as 2.5 for me for what it was. I don't know. I didn't particularly love the finish. It kind of came out of nowhere for me, but that's just my perspective of it.
I didn't have to. I didn't hate it.
Up next on the
didn't
show
hate it.
was your boy, talking about people you hate, Taz, and the APA taking on the right to censor. So the right to censor was a gimmick made up because they were getting a lot of flack from
I'm shocked to see Stevie there.
Parent-
I forgot all about that.
So there was a parent television council that was hating on WWF at the time, and they were like for the crude, segments and the
So
language.
Vince came up with that group?
Yes,
That's
to,
brilliant
to
shit.
mock them.
Yeah,
and
that's brilliant.
the people he threw in there were people that
I was
were
probably telling him, all right, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this group and just fucking with them.
Yeah, but the people he threw in the stable, like the Godfather, instead of being the Godfather, he's the good father. And you have Val Venus, who had the porn star gimmick. You throw him in there, and you have Bull Buchanan and Ivory. And I wasn't a big fan of the stable, and the music was it was instant heat. It was horrible.
I was just
music.
gonna say, dude, I had to mute the shit because I couldn't take the music.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It's like just a repeat, like me.
Yeah. Before this match, too, the APA did a promo backstage with your girl, Hack, Miss Texas Jackie, and
I used to love those back stage
Where they're playing
segments, like
cards and they're
all
trying to-
that.
yeah.
Like they're so good.
And Bradshaw's hyped up to be working in front of this crowd here in Houston. So there's not really much this is a get everybody on the card kind of match, which, WrestleMania they would tend to do for make sure everybody on the roster had a match booked, whether it was a battle royal, a pre-show match, just to get everybody a payday on the biggest card of the year. This gives a bunch of people paydays. How long did this one go, Ollie?
3 minutes, 56 seconds.
It wasn't much in here,
All right,
man.
I'm begging any of you to tell me how they were shooting with Taz here.
They were
He took the
shooting.
heat.
They were shooting
At
with
3
Taz
different
here.
times.
Oh, they were talking about his height?
No,
Well, I thought they were laying shit in on him, which I was like, yo, it looked
Yes.
like they were like sending a
Yeah.
message a little bit, like,
absolutely.
which I thought, and him taking the heat section, I was a little not like I thought Bradshaw or he was still Farouk, which I didn't realize that the name Ron, but no, there was a couple things that were laid in there on Taz that I was like, all right.
And then you notice when they shot him into the ropes, they shot him hard.
Oh, and he fell
couldn't-
on the web.
Well, the one he fell, he like faced first into the ropes and into the corner. He freaking fell into the corner too when they shot him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how easy you could screw with a guy. When I go to shoot a guy and I make it look like and I do that fall down thing on my back and shoot him real hard.
You're not even touching him.
It's his whole bump. I'm not pulling you hard at all. If I pull you a little bit, that's going to screw up your footwork. Just a little thing.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
So-
you're doing the full tug, but that guy's doing the running. Like
Yeah,
he's
it's
doing the
on
whole
his
thing.
spot,
You're not
dude.
even. You're just there for the whole
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a freaking hip toss. I ain't touching you. That's your bump, dude.
It's a front flip.
I'm standing on
Yeah.
my arm going like this. Seriously, it's your bump.
That's
I don't want to
interesting.
screw with your bump.
Okay. I did not pick up on
I
that,
can
but
screw you up.
right.
No,
Right.
I noticed a couple times that they laid shit in on Taz where I was like, ooh, they fucking, yeah.
I like this dude ain't no big freaking tough guy.
Well, not in the land of the giants in
I know,
WWF.
exactly.
With those guys across the ring. There wasn't really much here. Bradshaw came in, made the hot tag, ran wild. He hit Val Venus with a back superplex, and then he drilled the good father with the clothesline for hell for the finish.
was
Look really
jacked.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looked good. Val was jacked.
I think
Working faster than anybody.
I-
He was working real fast.
This wasn't much of a
I
match.
think Ron did less in the match than you did at your WrestleMania match. Literally, I don't think moves.
I think Jackie did more than Farouk in this match.
Yeah,
I think she did.
did a single thing. I'm like, that must have been a nice fucking
Nice payday.
paycheck
Yeah.
work day. Didn't
Didn't break a sweat. Didn't break a
Literally.
sweat.
Literally.
Your beer didn't even get warm by the time you got to the back either.
Yeah, like
It's whatever. This is a 1-star match for me. Ollie, what do you give it?
1.5.
Okay. Hack, what do you give it?
Oh, it's an easy 5.1 because they fucking.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
Oh, and he's walking down the thing, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't wait to see what the hell they're gonna fuck with him.
Ty, what do you give it?
It was 2.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
Up next, there was this whole Vince and Shane stuff, man, with Linda and Stephanie.
It's the greatest thing ever.
Oh my God! So Trish is pushing Linda into the arena in her $1 billion wheelchair, and they run into Stephanie, and then Stephanie is making fun of Linda, and then she's talking down to Trish, and it was just a great segment building up to that match. Really good backstage segment there. Up next on the show was Kane.
Wait, we just blew past the whole Linda kicking him in the nuts?
No, that's in the match later. Hack.
All right. I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, you're talking about the backstage.
Backstage with where she's
I was lost there.
okay. You guys
It's about 5 times a night.
You got Kane taking on Big Show and Raven for the hardcore title.
I felt bad for Scotty in this. I'm like, he's the only one taking bumps in this match, clearly.
You could tell this was Raven just came up with everything for this match to try to come up with something. And
So he didn't have to bump the whole time, probably.
All right, first of all, I don't know how much fucking Scotty's saying at all right now with two other people that are in the ring with that are working.
Fair point.
You know what I mean? It's kids, shut up and you're doing this.
But I think a lot of it's, you could tell where he came up with a lot of these spots, I feel like, for this match.
Yeah, but
But that's the perfect way.
Yeah.
And the two big guys will get that if Scotty approaches them correctly.
Right, and I think that's kind of how the match was set up.
Okay.
So, like,
you guys give me a big bump, I'll be out of the way, you fight for a little while, I'll meet you 30 yards down the hallway, you know what I'm saying? That's how it was.
I mean, they kind of start the match in the ring, and then it immediately goes backstage. And this is like the entire match is backstage, pretty much, for this. So there was a spot at one point where Show walked up to like what looked to be a chain link fence set up backstage, and he gets inside.
He couldn't get it locked.
And then he
His
tries
big-ass fingers.
He tries to padlock it. And then it took him a while, and then Kane just immediately knocks it open, rips the door down off there, and that was kind of weird.
Yeah, so probably if yes, you know what? I didn't think about it then, but if it does get locked, that's when Kane like pulls the whole system down and makes it look great. But Kane didn't have to do that because he grabbed the doors.
Yeah.
Open.
The best spot in the match was Raven taking a bump through the window.
Easily.
That was pretty wild.
Was that before or after he fucked up and ran the golf cart off the track? And
No,
then was that?
no, that was after that. That was the golf cart was after.
And then,
Kane almost ran him over.
So
before the window, and what about the fake room that they had set up?
that was Big Show and
dude.
Kane. That was
Was
totally
that
a fake
afterwards?
wall. That was right after the glass.
And the big blue door was freaking
all
Totally
that
gimmick
stuff.
door.
Yeah.
Totally a gimmick door.
I
That
know,
was
when
fun.
you can see it like like at least keep your camera low where you can't see the top of the drywall ending, and then see like a cinder block wall 5 feet
I know.
behind.
I was like,
it.
look at this room. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they made those fucking rooms. I'm
They
like,
totally did.
Yeah, I'm
They
like, I'm
were
pretty
made
sure they
that
made that
afternoon
whole
to set up for this match.
that whole entire
And-
thing.
They go through the wall. There's no 2x4s.
Nothing. Yeah, the
No.
wall. Yeah, come on.
It's like a bunch of one buys. Like, yeah.
I don't think the Astrodome was built that way. So Raven's trying to get away on his go-kart, and I heard him mention this in a shoot interview. So apparently when he veers off and he runs over on the side, and he like runs over some wires, apparently the wires that he ran over were the power for the entire like pay-per-view setup of the building. And if he had knocked the power out in WrestleMania 17, could you imagine the heat that he would have in the industry forever?
Okay, just so you know, I'm pretty sure those wires. That sounds like a Scotty story. to
Okay,
me.
yeah, it sounds like
You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like a tall tale, but that's the
Yeah,
story.
dude,
I've
you're not
heard.
gonna be able to put the
Yeah, there's like one wire there.
blackout.
It's the plug-in for the show.
Dude, that's a whole room with shit, like a 20 by 40 room of.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's running right through the hardcore match.
Yeah.
The one area that it's going through. Yeah, like,
Yeah, no,
That's a Scotty work.
it's the story I've heard over the years. I wanted to give that to you guys. So they go off into like a set of bleachers. That was pretty wild, actually. That was a pretty good spot. Then Kane tips over the golf cart, and then they go in another golf cart to give chase. This was so corny, but I liked it. I don't know.
corny.
It was corny, but I liked it.
too.
I did. So then they're right back on the stage with the Titantron. Big Show's about to throw Raven off when Kane comes up from behind, and then he kicks them both down below, and then they land on this big thing, and it was just like a squishy kind of thing.
It was horrible.
And then Kane did a leg
Good
drop.
pop though.
It did
I mean,
get-
huge pop when Raven first went off.
It did get a big reaction, even though it's
crazy reaction.
It's just a squishy kind of safe thing, whatever.
And Kane with the big elbow, like
yeah, that was the finish. And he pins Big Show to win the title. Yeah,
the ref counts on
on the side of the wall on the plexiglass. Yes, that was it. I enjoyed this match though for a WWF hardcore match. It had a lot of like fun, creative spots that you didn't normally see. It wasn't just guys hitting each other over the head with stuff. I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm going to go 2.5 stars. Ollie, what do you give it?
Yeah, I'll give it 2.
2? Hack?
Dude, I got to give this a minimum of 4 just because 2 of the dudes in that match, that's not anywhere near their kind of match.
Right. It's not their forte.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I got to give it a good rating.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, Hack. I'm going to give it a 3 rating just because I was entertained throughout the entire thing.
So was I.
And I didn't expect to be.
Yeah.
So, and I'm grading it on, like, a hardcore match scale, not as in, like, a,
Which is an easier scale.
Right.
People know that.
Right, but it didn't look stupid, stupid. We're looking back on it now.
That's us knowing.
Yeah,
the
right.
fans, it was great.
But think about, like, 2001.
Right.
It was
know what I'm
entertaining.
saying?
It was very
it was
entertaining.
To the fans in 01, you're like Kane, Big Show, and Raven, hardcore match.
Going through the walls,
Yeah.
all this stuff.
You can tell by their reaction. You know what I mean? By listening to this shit. And they're just watching it. They're like watching it on TV in their home right there. They're not
pretty much.
If that match, they're not back there with those dudes.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they're popping for shit on the TV.
90% of the match was not done in front of the audience. So for what it was,
But yeah,
I enjoyed
was
it.
entertained for sure.
Up next on the show was Eddie Guerrero taking on Test for the WWF European title.
Crazy dichotomy in this match, too.
Yeah.
Peace, boys.
Rest in peace to both of these guys, man.
Yeah, it took me halfway through it till I said that to myself.
Seriously.
All right, guys, love you both.
I mean, it just...
What I do.
Just a cool match, kind of, and it wasn't the greatest thing, but I enjoyed this one too. So the number one thing you mentioned it before the show too was Perry Saturn's furry top hat. Like, what the heck was that he was rocking?
And it was like a white Fu Manchu.
No, it was dyed blonde. I think it was like dyed. Yeah. It was a very interesting look by him.
Well, no, but I got to put that as intelligence on his part because he sees the guys that he's out there with. Nobody's even going to know who the frick he is or that he is there without that mustache. I love the mustache thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love the hat thing.
You're doing something to get noticed.
Exactly.
And he's coming from wearing the skirt and doing all that shit.
He wasn't yet skirt. He wasn't yet... Oh, he was
No, in
skirt
WCW. Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I'm
you're
saying.
right.
He's
Yes,
coming
you're
from
right.
like the whole
He's
skirt
like, I ain't that
thing in
dude.
there. Like, what?
This is my new change.
But
it was a little Buff Bagwellish.
It was a little Buff Bagwell.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a little bit less like, goth.
this hat will be over.
What's it? Whips and chains.
Don't have Lex Luger next
sex
to me.
shit. But
S&M?
yeah, there you go. Shout out Rihanna.
Yeah, that was a good porn stash. I didn't think about it.
There was a spot where Test got thrown outside, but his foot got caught between the first and the second rope, and he was really stuck. The ref, you could tell, was freaking out, trying to get him to set free. And
No, but Tess kind of he was like, all right, fuck it, I'll lay here. If you notice for half a second, he was like, I'll lay here.
He goes, I'm not hurt, so I'm good.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
At first he reached for his leg and he was like, oh shit, and then he was like, this ain't so bad, so. And then, I don't know, I guess he fell out of it, or maybe the ref helped him
I
get out
thought
of it.
Eddie was going to get up on the apron and try and grab his head, and Tess would have his arms on it and pull him up to relieve some of the pressure on the leg so the ref could get it out.
Well, Eddie was just punching him, but heck, when you're in the ring and something like this happens, have you ever been in the ring where you got your foot stuck or your arm in the ropes or anything like that?
No, but it wouldn't be a problem.
You just kind of...
Last year's WrestleMania weekend. Going over the guardrail.
It's a little different.
Takes a bump over the guardrail.
Not my problem.
What a
Easy
perfect
peasy.
bump.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you guys didn't even see it.
Yeah, you can leap over the top
No,
rope
all
now.
I saw was you disappear. And I'm like, oh my God, did he fall?
Dude, I didn't try
I'm
and
a
leap
shadow.
it. I got on a chair on the other side and still fell.
Yeah, well, yes. Well.
It's even worse.
I'm literally in the crowd. I'm watching. I see Hack. He's going up to the guardrail. I'm like, oh, this should be good.
Yeah, but you
and then he
blamed
just disappears. I'm like, oh my God, he fell.
You blamed
But
it.
I was up at a instant.
And you blamed it to the camera for saying that you were drunk. So you
Did I say no? I said my sons are going to kill me for this.
is that what you said?
That's
You
what I
always
said
got
to the
you
camera.
always got an out.
Yeah, you just claimed you
My
were drunk.
sons are never going to let me forget this. That's what I said.
I remember.
Eddie went to work on Test's leg. There wasn't really much heat in this.
But you got to understand, these are Test isn't an Eddie wrestler. You know, Eddie could do anybody on the planet. Doesn't matter. Even if he couldn't talk to him, he could get
You
through
can
it.
work a broomstick.
But yeah, exactly. So Test isn't freaking like he knows it's just like this is gonna be like freaking off.
No, but I don't know if you noticed, like when it like Eddie snatched Test on a suplex, like was like boom, had him right up in the air. Like Eddie was built like a brick shit.
Test
Yeah,
kept
he
his
was.
feet straight up.
Yeah, he
You know
was.
what I'm saying? Like Eddie was a strong ass dude. Like he snatched Test up like no problem. Got him up there like over for a couple of those moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Benoit, like that compact freaking body, dude. Those dudes were tough.
Test made a comeback with a bunch of his like tilt-a-whirl kind of moves that he does.
Those were nice.
Did you see how he almost freaking lost it on? He shoots Eddie in, and then he does that one where your legs go around your head, and you do that. He almost fell over on that.
He almost did.
Could have
Yes.
hurt Eddie on that.
Yeah. And then he hit a fish.
love you, dude.
He hit a fisherman neck breaker. Eddie goes up top, but he misses the frog splash. And then Test went for his big boot of death, but he missed that. Then he hit the pump handle slam. Eddie kicked out of that. He hit his boot, but then Malenko ran in and broke up the pin. Eddie grabbed the belt, hit Test with it, got the pin when the ref was all turned around. This was kind of like a TV match. How long did this one go, Ollie?
This was
7
8
minutes?
minutes,
Yeah.
30 seconds.
But it still fits into the Eddie Guerrero. He might not be doing the things like remember where he was a thief,
Cheat
and all
to
that
win,
stuff
cheat
like
to
that.
win,
But
yes.
it still fits right into.
Well, yeah,
Eddie's
because
freaking,
Saturn had the run in, and then Dean had the run in, and then you had the belt.
Right, so
Then
it's like fake,
Yeah.
real finish.
Yeah.
And Test don't mind freaking losing there because believe me, people. Some people like don't want to lose. You know what I mean? But that gives Test an easy out too because there was interference.
Yes.
Right.
It's 3 against 1.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed this.
100%.
I enjoyed this for what it was. I'm going to go 2.5 for it.
Dude, that
Ollie?
tilt-a-whirl powerbomb was sick.
It was a
too.
nice move. Like,
Yeah,
Test could have been a main event guy. He had
Yeah.
the elbow off the top. He had the big boot. He had
Wasn't
the pump.
athletic enough.
Had a great look.
Great look. Like I think Test like it's always interesting to look back at wrestling and say like, man, if something went a little bit different, I could see maybe that guy being at a higher level than he was.
But if he's a main event guy, heck, he's going to be working with the top guys, and he's not going to need to be that. He was good enough to, you know what I'm saying, with the look and everything. Like
He
what
didn't have it from the hips down.
yeah.
And that's the thing, dude. You got to be able to move those hips, move those feet. You know what I'm saying?
He had slow feet.
Take it for example. All right, now try imagine looking over top of the ring, right? And I'm going to shoot, and I'm got somebody against the ropes, and I'm going to shoot them into the other ropes. Now me, I'm going to take one step back and then flip my whole body towards the other side. As his body's passing me, I'm like doing 1, 2, boom, ready to go. Test is more like 3, 4, 5. He's like that big Bill guy that
in AEW. Yeah.
in AEW
That you love?
It's good. It's the same thing, dude. You don't have it from the waist down.
Okay. I just something about his, I don't know. Like if things went a little bit differently, I know he didn't have like great charisma.
No,
or
in that
whatever,
era,
but-
he definitely could have.
Yo, dude, it hurt him a little bit when he missed the pay per view. Wasn't paying attention to the weather report. He's at him or him and Stacy were together. They were somewhere, and then they got snowed in by 5 feet. They kept her, and he got fired the next week.
Man, it's just this business
Stupid
sometimes.
shit. You had to pay attention to the weather before. Multiple times that I worked there, and I didn't even work there like long in my life. I would call them up and be like, "Yo, there's a possibility of snow tomorrow. You want to get me in a day before?"
Model employee hack over here, getting the early flights out because of weather.
No, but at some point you don't want to lose that.
No, I know.
I mean, you're there and you hate it, but you want to be there just in case they want you.
Right? No, it's
You know what I'm saying?
it's a great point by
I mean,
you.
I hated it, but it's your job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like, who knows what can happen in the bit. One day
Anything.
it could be,
Yeah.
all right, or
I missed that night. Who knows what happened? I want that, or you make
Yes.
kids.
But that's more like just like your personality in general.
Yeah, I
Like,
ain't missing shit. I'm on
Yeah.
time. I'm never late. Stuff like that.
yeah.
Ollie, what do you give the match?
I'll give it a 2.
2?
Yeah.
Hack?
Dude, I gotta give it a 3.5 because Test actually impressed me in this match. Hanging with Eddie right there. He really did. 'Cause
Yeah.
I knew Test.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 3. I thought the match was fine. I actually loved the finish, the timing, and yeah, super crisp. So you know me and my finishes.
You're finished. Well, finish, man. So the next match here, I'll see what you say about this one. Kurt Angle taking on Chris Benoit. Man, on a card that is as stacked as this, these two guys. Angle cuts a promo before the match, and he's just hating on Texas, which is great. And he requested that Texans stop wearing cowboy hats. And then Heyman had a really good line about JR right there too, with wearing a cowboy hat.
I know, but it just sounded to me like he was reading off a card.
You didn't like the delivery.
No, I didn't like it.
Okay.
No, to me, I just feel like
that was just always. I feel like that was his thing.
Okay, yes,
Like,
that's true.
was
That's true. It wasn't like he was ever great.
No, it was like the buffoon. It was like the buffoon who sounds like he's reading off a script. Like
Yes, Ollie.
Yeah, like he practiced this line 100 times in the
You know
mirror
what?
before he came out and said
That's
it.
a very, very good point.
It's like intentionally
He can't
corny.
be that bad.
It's intentionally corny. Like
Yeah.
he's saying, like he would do a lot of like local sports teams,
Yeah, you're
running them
right.
down, and like it's cheap heat, but the way that he delivers it in that like goody
It's
two
a
shoes.
goofy delivery.
Yes, but that's what makes me like it.
No, you guys convinced me totally. I
Because
was
that's
wrong.
like the goody two shoes Kurt Angle. Like
Dude, but not everybody can do that.
Right.
Like, not everybody can pull that off and be like that much of a buffoon on purpose.
right. And Angle was so great at being simultaneously the goofy comedy, but then being able to instantly switch over to be serious wrestler. And
Well, because he had the credibility.
yes, but it's not. A lot of characters are not able to do that. And you, to your point, Hack. Yeah, the credibility of being an Olympic gold medalist, like, doesn't matter what you do, you're going to still have that to fall back on. And his in-ring work always backs it up to have, you could be wearing a little tiny hat like he did in the one segment with Austin, and then still go out and be able to be a badass. You know what I mean?
And then, like, come out in the bandana and the glasses, tagging with Undertaker.
Yes.
Undertaker's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, like his best thing, like he would come out and he'd be like, "Yeah, you know what? You suck."
Yeah.
Like that would be
Yeah.
a shit talk. Like
Yeah.
you'd be like, "Okay." Like, yeah, that was like his like kind of stupid genius, like, the
It
stupidity
worked, though.
genius, like
It-
talking. Yeah, it was so dumb. It was like it got over.
For 9 out of 10 guys, maybe it doesn't. But Kurt Angle was such a special talent, being able to do, not just the in-ring work that he could do, but his, charisma on the mic and
I think
everything.
it was because he was so respected and what's the right word I'm looking for? It was like he was so respected and like almost like feared for like his wrestling acumen that like that other part of him got so over.
Well, there was nobody as bad as he was in the locker room. I don't care who you were.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
talking about like fan wise. Like obviously, clearly, he's like a great, fantastic wrestler. But he's like, you know what? Your flag. I noticed it only has 1 star. You're missing about 49 other stars. Like just that stupid shit. But like it got over because you're like, well, this guy is a badass. So
Well,
we're not gonna say shit.
This match, the first, I want to say like 5 or 6 minutes of it was just them working like it's work, shoot, holds, and they're really going at it. And you could tell it a couple times when like Angle powders out, they were like getting kind of winded because they were like really like going like wrestling. Like it was really awesome stuff. I'd love to see them.
And you're definitely not outwinding Angle. Angle's on that treadmill, freaking. Like you'd see him in a building, he'd be on that thing for like an hour and a half.
No, I know, but they were going. Like they were working these holds. They were working, and Benoit kept going.
Yeah, but they're light. They're not going. Those guys are barely touching. I mean, your weight might be on top of his, but besides that, everything they're doing, dude, you can't snatch the holds as quick as they did if you're working strong.
Yeah.
Makes sense? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It has to be so light. You just flow, and you just go with whatever he's doing. You want to be on top? Okay, that's all over now. Not even really talking. They're just off the cuff right there.
Yeah.
100% off the cuff.
It's all feel.
Yeah,
It's all feel, and then I guess they would always end up with like Benoit trying to get the crossface, getting it in, Angle just getting to the ropes, then powdering out, And like the psychology of the match was basically Benoit out wrestling the Olympic wrestler, which was pretty cool to see. And that's
which is a perfect little storyline right there.
yeah, it's very giving of Kurt to allow, like you said, Hack. There's not a guy in the locker room that he couldn't take, but to be the guy that was willing to let other wrestlers out wrestle him just to put on a good match shows that he got the business.
Well, but he ain't doing that with certain people. I mean, you could do that with your Benoits, you know what I'm saying? But he ain't letting anybody get away with that.
That's true. So finally, Benoit takes over with a couple of Germans. And then Angle's going in for an ankle lock, and then Benoit got on an ankle lock of his own, and then Angle got on a crossface. So they're doing all kinds of reversals.
Trying to do the other guy's moves.
A lot of that on this card too.
Yeah.
A lot of that on this card.
Absolutely.
The ref takes a bump, which I didn't really dig, and then there was another ref. Or no, that was later in the show. So then they did. Benoit put the crossface on Angle, and he taps out. So you get the visual tap, which builds up for the storyline.
Which everybody knew was coming as soon as the ref went down.
Right. It was, come on, Wrestling 101. If you didn't see that coming, and then. What was next here? I'm sorry.
Benoit goes to wake the ref up.
That's right. Benoit goes to wake the ref up, and Angle hits the Olympic slam, and then Benoit kicks out of that, which was a really nice near fall. And I think Heyman put it over as no one's ever kicked out of that before, which was pretty cool. Angle went up for a moonsault, but Benoit got his knees up. Angle had like a really...
Dude, he took that like right in the throat, it looked like.
Well, yeah, it looked like the side of his face was on his shin or right below his knee.
Angle had a picture-perfect moonsault, though. Like,
Yeah, that was good.
really, really cool moonsault. And then Benoit hits the diving headbutt, and Angle kicks out of that. He went up for another German, but
That
then...
might have not ever happened.
Then Angle hit him with a low blow, and then they did a roll-up sequence.
Somebody else does the same low blow, I think.
They did a roll-up sequence, and then Angle kind of used the tights for the finish. This was some great wrestling. I didn't like the finish, though. I thought the finish kind of, I don't know. I would have went some other direction for it, but... I mean, it's Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. This is fucking awesome.
I didn't hate the finish. I just put, first time ever in a year of doing these things, I put convenient. The finish to me was just convenient.
So you like that? Like you liked it?
No.
Oh.
I didn't like it, or I would, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I just put it out. I don't know what the F meant, and then I just put convenient next to there, and it just seemed convenient.
This is tough because I didn't like the finish, but I loved the match, though. Like, they had an intensity.
Dude, great match.
They
I
had-
got great match.
I have a great match down, too. Like, I'm going to go 4.25 star only because I have seen a 5-star between them. I don't go 5 for this. I don't go beyond 4.25 because I didn't like the finish. Ollie, what do you give it?
I'm going 4, and I almost have a tough time giving it 4, but like the mat wrestling and just the holds and the psychology of it was so good. But like you said, the finish, I get the finish because obviously it's not their last time wrestling and everything like that, but it's like, and I would have been okay with a finish like that. I just thought the way it happened could have been better.
They didn't need a ref bump.
No.
They just didn't need it.
No.
You know, I should have thought that.
They had it be to show that
Angle
tapped.
Yeah, which like I all understand and
To set up further down the line.
Yeah, I know, but a match like that, you just want to be clean.
That's
You
why I
just
don't
wanna
like.
be
That's why
clean as
none of us
ever.
like to finish.
Yeah.
You know, that's why none of us like to
Yeah,
finish.
like convenient. Well, I probably because I probably really didn't like it at the time, but I just didn't want to say I hate it.
What did you give the match, though, Hack?
A 4.
4.
I don't want to give it more.
Yeah, that's why I go 4.25. Like, I love it up until...
Dude, the first 5 minutes was great.
It was awesome.
You never see that ever.
For a
ever,
WWF show, I mean, that's like New Japan Tokyo Dome stuff.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's really cool to see. Ty, what do you give the match?
I'm gonna give it a 3. The finish, I didn't really love. I liked the way that it started. That you're talking about. I thought they did it for too long, and then they did it for too long, and then
Too short of the rest.
and then it completely changed. Then the match just completely changed in the middle of it. Like
What?
It was all. It was like I don't know. It was like
Angle did something, and then that like stopped the wrestling.
Yeah, it was like they were trying to make a point. They could try to make a point that like you could both grapple, and then like it was like okay, we're just not going to do this anymore. We're going to go to like an actual other wrestling match. Like I don't know.
Well, yeah, but I look at that as like, all right, we fell even on that, and then we go to pro now.
Sure. Yeah.
I kind of like that hack. How long did this go? 15?
This went 14.
10. Okay. So, yeah, I know what you're saying, Ty. Like, the first 5 almost feels like
Two
a different
different
match.
matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you were going to do that match, do that match. To
Which they could have. They easily could have done
right. Like maybe not as intense as the first 5 minutes.
Maybe
Obviously,
only go
'cause you can't
9.
do- 'cause
Maybe
you
only
can't
go
do that
9.
for 20 minutes.
Yeah, maybe
whatever,
only go 9 or something.
But like,
yeah.
I don't know. Just my perspective on it.
Yeah.
It was like, that's all.
Up next on the show, this was a great backstage segment. He got Regal backstage, and he goes into his office. He's the commissioner, and Kamala and Kimchi are just dancing on his desk. And the way Regal sells this with his face, man. Regal's facial
He does
expression.
a disgusted British man.
It's just the best, dude. Regal's facial expressions are second to none in the wrestling business.
So good.
I mean, like, forget about his work rate, which he has. Another guy that could have been a top of the card guy, like main event guy in different scenarios. Up next on the show was China taking on Ivory for the WWF Women's title. And man, how far has women's wrestling come in 20-some years?
I was thinking about the same exact thing.
Because how many minutes did this match go? This was 3 minutes?
2:38.
2:30. Okay. This was nothing. And China was a superstar level talent. A big part of the Attitude Era.
Wow.
She had a great look. She was competing with the men. And
She had plenty of plastic surgery about it.
yeah,
on her face,
a lot
She
of
looked
work done.
thin.
She did look a lot leaner, not as muscular.
Yeah, like thin.
She probably was, noticeably down from some of her peak size when she was, Triple H's bodyguard, which was always a great act.
Yeah, but I'd rather see her lean with a better face than thick.
Yeah,
with mud.
This match.
She had a flat face.
This match was nothing, though. I mean, it was, and China didn't seem particularly engaged much in the match. Like even when it was, she
was engaged with how over she was.
She was super over.
Dude, honestly, Victoria was like trying her
Ivory.
best to.
Ivory.
Ivory was trying her best, literally, to get everything China did over like a month, because you could tell Ivory actually was a worker.
Oh, when she goes up for the power bomb and she's got the hands in the air.
And she's selling everything great, taking the bumps, selling all the bumps. Like she was doing her best, because obviously China's not a worker, but Ivory, like she was doing her best. I felt like
she tried.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I agree. But I hated it to be such a stomp because she's so talented.
yes, but I think the stomp was more of like a culmination of like Chicken Little running away and finally getting caught.
Yeah.
With the angle, because China had the neck injury and everything, and like never really got her hands on Ivory or whatever, and then it was kind of just like
I don't even remember that part.
well, it was
That
just
was what
kind
the
of like
story build-up was.
Yeah,
that
it was
she had
kind
a
of more
broken
like
neck.
a na boo boo type thing, and then like the bully finally gets her hands on you,
That's
so
why
it's like
she was such a pussy in the beginning.
Yes.
Like when the match started.
it's like it's like one of those like na boo boo, and then like the bully finally gets her hands on you, and like you just get demolished.
Live in the cage, like
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Overall, though, for a match, this was just, I don't know.
There's no rating involved.
This is a 0-star, 1-star. Ollie, what do you give it?
I don't have a rating for it.
Hack, you got
2 stars.
2 stars. Ty?
I'll give 2 for Ivory.
Okay. Up next on the show, man, this is, you want to talk about sports entertainment?
Wow,
Dude.
fucking wow.
This is a sports entertainment classic here.
This is
Vince McMahon taking on...
And there's no wrestlers doing it.
There's no wrestlers. You have Vince and Shane out there. So the week prior, WCW is going out of business. And on the final Nitro, the final broadcast...
Is that when Vince shows up?
Vince is doing a simulcast. It's on both TNT and TNN. And out comes Shane McMahon to say that he buys WCW. He steals WCW from his dad, so they throw that in on the last week of the build for this angle. They show Shane. They show the WCW wrestlers up in like a skybox, and they had the biggest jobber crew up there. You immediately
Was
made,
that Lance Storm up there?
Yeah, it was Lance Storm. It was
the only one I
He was the only one I really
Hugh
recognized
Morris.
too.
I think there was. I think Mike Awesome
just
was up
because
there.
of the haircut.
Oh, also might have been up there.
Chavo. There was a couple guys up there.
Oh, yeah, right. Chavo was up there.
But I mean, just if you're talking about like making a big deal about buying WCW, and then you show the biggest jobber crew of guys, WCW had no chance of ever being anything.
Well, yeah,
after
and
seeing them
he was
in-
like, yo, guys, up there, what's up?
They were so far away.
There was no zoom in.
There was nothing. They looked like a bunch of losers.
Lights on him.
Nothing.
I'm over here squinting at the
Yeah.
TV. I'm like,
Is that Hugh Morris? Is that Hugh? Is that
like,
Hugh
yo,
Morris?
hey, guys.
Yo, hey,
Hey.
hey.
Lance Storm's rat tail.
So then Mick Foley's the special ref for this too. So the build-up of this match, Vince has been having this affair with Trish and then supposedly drugging Linda. And Stephanie's also on Team Vince. Shane's had enough of this. Shane's standing up for his mom. And Mick Foley got fired as the commissioner by Vince months earlier. So that's why his involvement is in there. Man, oh man. For two guys that aren't wrestlers, like I would put this up with like Fonzie and Beulah, for two non-wrestlers going out there and just putting on a match.
Well, just Vince's selling and movements alone.
His stooging.
Like
Vince, like, the way he worked this match, though, you would think the guy was a worker.
Yeah.
Like, and like the guy goes from he's hitting Shane with a chair, and then he's does his strut back to Lynn. Like, the dude just had timing with everything.
Yep.
Like, his faces, everything. He was so good.
I loved some of the sells when Shane's like, first of all, these guys' punches and everything are fucking horrible.
oh
but,
yeah, and he's like,
but that sell right there.
What happened?
Outside of the ring.
But what happened in the first salvo of punches? Vince stiffed the shit out of him and gave him a fucking black eye.
Yeah. They're throwing live rounds.
Oh, Shane hit him a couple times
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like,
I think
yeah.
I remember Vince talking about this and saying that he was worried about Shane fucking being there for it and wanting to fucking like. He was worried about Shane's freaking tenacity in the match. So he goes, "Well, I'm going to stiff the shit out of him at first, and then that'll get his dander up."
I mean,
Nice.
look, say whatever you want about Vince McMahon, and I'll say a
I
lot.
don't care. This was great.
He took a fucking beating in this match too. An absolute beating.
Oh yeah. Some of the cane shots
Dude.
Shane put on him too.
Yeah. So Shane punched
Yeah,
him
I
out.
told Shane, I'm like, you gotta whip his ass.
Shane put Vince on a table and he did his fucking insane, crazy flying elbow through the table. Vince
Which put him out for like 10 minutes.
Vince got pulled out right away by Stephanie
No,
right
but
before.
as it should, if he's not a worker or something like that.
Yeah. And then Trish wheels out Linda. And man, when that heat right there, when she's wheeling out Linda, and then she goes and consoles Vince, and then slapped him right across the face. Steph goes after her.
I love Steph's caked hair.
Yes.
I forgot how good
did.
Steph was.
Oh, she was great as a performer. Great in her own right as a performer.
I know.
So they're doing a cat fight. Foley pulls them apart, and then Steph slaps him. He then chased her to the back with Trish. So then Steph and Trish are backstage. Vince is at ringside and sees Linda, and he just has this look on his face, man. It's like he's possessed. And he calls her a bitch. He goes after her, and then Mick makes the save.
Great spot. With
Yes.
Mick coming in and be like, "Don't you
Yes.
dare!
And
Don't
Mick-
you dare!" Like
Mick was
great spot.
serious
Yeah,
too. Like it was really
He was
well
a
done.
perfect ref for this match.
Absolutely
100%.
perfect.
Yeah, super
Perfect.
smart, like making a worker the ref, like for the match, like just for a worker to be out there.
Yes.
For like worst case scenario.
And his personality like was just perfect.
Yeah.
You know, have a nice day, but then would like whoop
If
your ass.
something
Like,
goes wrong, he
Yeah.
can fix it. You
Right.
know, you gotta have there's a lot of trust going on right here.
Absolutely. Vince grabbed the chair. He hits Mick with it twice. And then he goes after Linda again, and the crowd now is really on Vince at this point. Vince takes her out of the chair and throws her into the ring, and
He didn't throw her, he placed her. And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, how's he going to get her into the ring? Or are they going to... Because I forgot this, you know what I mean? Because I ain't seen it in 100 years. I'm like, are they going to do all the business? Because I remember her kicking him in the nuts. I'm like... Well, I guess it's going to be on the outside of the ring because I'm like, well, they're not going to get the whole wheelchair up there, but then they get the chair. But he's got her, taking care of her nice and easy, setting her on the inside of the first fucking row.
So then,
and shout out to her for like
having Tyler's fucking face for the whole time.
Yeah, and just like
for the crowd,
but just moving like you can't move, like you
comatose.
Like, people don't understand how hard that is to do.
The whole family fucking is great.
So. Man,
Ollie, I get it, dude. I was shocked by it too.
Like how hard
she wasn't even blinking.
Like in the chair, just
she wasn't even blinking, dude.
She was a terrible performer. Besides this role, like anytime she was ever involved, she was not good. But
she played the dead fish great.
She played the dead fish great,
just like my girlfriend.
So they throw a couple trash cans in the ring. Vince hits Shane with like 2 really hard shots, and then he's about to hit the third one, and then Linda stands up off the chair to just
pop of the century.
One of the biggest pops on the show.
Jesus Christ, no,
dude, one of the biggest pops maybe ever.
Dude,
wow. For the people listening, it's like this is what the payoff is for the angle. Is this pop right here? Like
her standing up.
This is what the workers do it for. This is what the whole thing culminated for. Is that 3 seconds right there?
Yep. She then.
Great point, Ollie.
That's what the wrestlers live for.
Great point.
Is those 3 seconds.
I'm getting goosebumps right now.
I was like vindicated. I was like, oh,
get him,
yes, like yes.
She drills him in the nuts to just a gigantic pop. Foley then gets in the ring, and he beats the hell out of Vince. He was busting out some vintage Mick Foley punches in the corner. You could tell even he was fired up. Shane then puts a trash can in front of Vince's head, and he does... For the
Van Terminator.
For the very first time, he does the Van Terminator... drills him with the kick right into his head. That was the finish. How long did this one go, Ollie?
14 minutes.
14 minutes for a sports...
Might have been the best 14 minutes of my... dude, that's like top 10 ever. I mean, honestly, because you got to figure what year is it?
2001.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, dude? That shit was brilliant.
Well, and also, like,
and everybody was great.
And just like the whole angle of it and bringing like the realism of it. How many families in America are going through some sort of that?
You got your older person that's a vegetable now, or whatever.
No, but not even that. Or it's just like the dad or like the mom hates the dad and the son siding with the mom.
I got it.
You know what I'm saying? Or something like that, and it's just
me and your guys' mom
it all right into the street.
Oh man, this is a 4-star for me for non-workers.
You kidding me? Where do you think they got the idea from? You're welcome.
What do you give it, Ollie?
Dude, this is 5.
5? Easy. You're going 5? Okay.
I mean, just
no. I know. For like, sports entertainment, I'd go 5, but I'm going to go 4.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't always come down to what you do in the ring or how good you do it.
Yeah.
Like it comes down to how the crowd reacts.
Absolutely. Hack, what do you give it?
11.
11 stars. Wow.
Dude, it was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, no, it truly was. It truly was like
fucking brilliant.
You want to talk about a perfectly executed
standing up. I mean, like, wow. I was popping seeing it. I knew she was going to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I still popped when she did it.
Ty, what do you give it?
5 stars.
Okay.
I mean, it was, dude. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's an absolute classic.
The whole thing was phenomenal.
Up next on the show, you want to talk about classics, too. Edge, Christian, and the Hardys in a tables, ladders, and chairs match.
Oh, my.
This match, they've done a bunch of them over the years. They did one at the previous Mania, 3-way ladder match. They did, Hardys, Edge, and Christian ladder match. They've done these matches, and we've seen ladder matches done to death. I don't know.
Yeah, I invented them.
Every week you try to take credit for this.
I told you, I was using a ladder in the early 90s.
We know. This match, though, fucking incredible, and just every spot in this match.
Insane.
I think they didn't miss a single spot in this match.
You want to learn timing? Watch this match.
I don't think they missed a spot. I think everything they set out to do, they executed. And the stuff that you're talking about them executing, including the run-ins, including the high risks that they take in this match.
It's all done at a razor-thin margin.
Including somebody who has nothing to do with what's going on or what's going on TV, putting a table somewhere that they're not going to use for another 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Shit like that, dude. There's 200 different spots going on here, but those guys know each other so well. So you break them down into segments. You know what I mean? But like I always said, dude. This was like poetry.
It really was. This is
the worst part about the match was when freaking what's his name didn't make it all the way, standing on top of
Jeff.
Yeah, when Jeff didn't make it to the third line.
I know. I felt bad for him because that's such a great spot. I know,
but
that's so.
And I didn't know what was going to happen after that. So
Right.
that might have been a change up right there.
Yeah, because it's only him and then the belts, and there was no one else there. So it was like,
Well,
what
I
was
think
he?
it was going to lead. It was all going to lead to the Edge thing. They just got to it a different way.
Okay.
No, I think the Edge thing happened when they wanted it to at the end. Because the Edge thing had to happen.
That's what you just said. They got to the Edge thing, but a different way.
Okay, that's right. You're right. Yeah. Okay.
Because he makes it to the ladder, and I think it's Bubba catching him and then doing it. It just all happened in a fucked up way.
But if we had a ref that was holding the third ladder down, all he would have needed was one hand on it to balance it. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
And I wanted to see Hardy to fucking get to that third one and see what was going to happen.
Wow, we have so much to
And he wrote it down well, too. He just wrote it right to the ropes.
Oh, I know. He was like,
This match is insanity.
The sequence from when the first run-in happens to, run-in, whatever, boom, boom, boom. I mean, there's 15 consecutive flawlessly timed spots.
Yeah. With different people.
Yeah, that was the most insane thing I've probably ever seen. Just unreal.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Again, if you guys, I assume if you're listening to this, you have seen this match before. But if you watch this with 2025 eyes and you see how this still holds up 24 years later, nobody has touched this since. This is still a classic, absolutely.
It makes me want to rewatch it again right now.
I'm serious. This match is just absolutely incredible. There's spots like crazy. Bubba powerbombs Jeff through Edge and a table. The Dudleys then create the double-decker, which is used at the finish. They leave that there. They just don't touch it.
Which almost got knocked over by Edge putting the table into the ring. Missed it by that much where he could have knocked over the second row.
The double-decker. Yeah. There's ladders everywhere. I love when all six guys just climbed up and they take bumps, and Bubba and Matt, I think, took the big back
Edge
bumps
and Christian were bumping their asses off.
Edge and Christian bumped their ass
Jesus Christ,
off.
they were bumping their ass off.
Everybody in this match bumps their ass off.
Yeah, I know, but to me, they stood out. To me, it's usually Jeff Hardy.
On the
that bump
crotch?
Christian takes when he's supposed to take the crotch on the ropes, but goes
over.
Oh, my God.
Dude, you can fuck yourself up.
Oh,
doing that.
Oh, yeah.
But then...
Dude, that's a long way down.
Well, yeah, you're flying over
But then what does he do? He grabs the fucking table on the outside and sets it up for the acid drop that's coming 3 minutes later. Everybody right on time.
Spike comes in, just gives acid drops to anybody who's not a family member. And then Rhino comes in, just kills everyone except for Edge and Christian with spears.
The shoulder spot with Rhino was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. Lita comes in and she gave Rhino her diving Frankensteiner. She then drills Spike with a chair shot. Just
drilled him.
Yeah.
Killed him.
Oh my God.
And you know he was laying in.
Yeah.
We all know.
This is mania. This is
and
mania.
he'd be pissed if she didn't like it.
Right. And then Bubba and Devon kill her back with a 3D. Fans.
Oh, 3D's easy. I'm like the only person who gets hurt on a 3D. I took it twice and got hurt. Nobody else ever in ECW got hurt on 3D except me.
Yeah, you're too
Swear to God.
You're too top heavy.
Yeah, I might have leaned into it or something, but I can't know.
You were scrunched like a caterpillar by
I'm
the
the
times you
only
took
person they ever hurt with that move.
Well,
no, it was obviously my fault at this point. I'm not saying it's their fault. If one out of 18,000, I'm wrong.
You're the outlier. It's your fault. You're the problem. They bring out the giant 14-foot ladder. Spike and Rhino fall through a table under the ladder. Jeff goes up top. And then he puts them both down with the senton. And then Jeff's like done, and then Edge brings out another big ladder. They do the pinata spot with Devon and Edge, where they're both hanging from a title belt, and they both take bumps into the ring. That was pretty crazy.
Dude, I've seen Devon talk about this because Devon's terrified of heights. Devon was fucking terrified taking that spot.
That spot was crazy.
Said, like,
And
That's why he held on for so long. He didn't want to let go.
well, that's like the 19th craziest thing in this match, which just
I know,
shows you how
literally.
crazy this match is. Jeff does the skipping across the 4 ladders, but he slips, falls down, and then he ends up hanging from the belt. And Bubba gives him enough inertia by walking the ladder back to the one
That's
corner.
exactly what it was for, because he had his feet caught in there.
Yes.
If he can't hold on anymore, that's a bad bump down to the fucking...
Right,
you know what I
and
mean?
it
A
lets him
face bump
swing
hard.
from the one corner
Yeah.
to where
Wow.
Edge jumps, hits him in midair, and the sell that both of them do, Edge with the sit-up kind of sell of it, was just, I mean, that's an all-time highlight
Dude,
reel spot.
It's so easy to get hurt on that spot, dude. Edge took care of him totally. Because if Edge plows through him, then your head's going to be a lot closer to going into the ground. You know what I mean? He's got to grab you, hold on to you, and bring you down with him.
Yeah, just perfect execution. And you're talking about, the high-risk stuff that they're doing. And then
Well, it's Jeff freaking Hardy, dude.
I know, but Edge and Bubba, I mean, everybody played a part in
Oh,
it.
Bubba freaking off the top rope.
Well,
off
now,
the,
Rhino was the one who figured that out.
so now we
That you
get...
got to pull Jeff back to get him enough to swing and go through.
Oh,
I've
is
seen
that right?
I've
Wow.
seen the clip of Bubba talking about that and trying to put the match together, and they were all sitting there like, how
Yeah, 'cause
like
one
we know what we want to do, but how do we get like...
Because
How do
Edge
we
can't
get
jump
there?
off the top of that ladder
No.
with any momentum or anything.
Right.
So you got to get him to go to him.
That's crazy.
That's good shit. I love that.
That is a
Ollie.
great point. So Matt and Bubba are both trying to climb up the really, really big ladder, and then Rhino tips it over, and the timing for both of them when they jump off that ladder
Gotta
through the
set
table
that
stack.
ladder up in the perfect spot.
believe
Perfect
it.
spot. They both go through the tables. Tables blow up in spectacular fashion. This is just like absolutely incredible. Everybody's dead except
Dude, those tables exploded
they
too.
did. They did. They
Well,
broke-
dude, Bubba's 350.
I mean, I know, but you
Probably
know,
doing 18 miles an hour, freaking hitting him.
Everybody in this match is dead except for Christian. Rhino then is like his human, helper, stacking him up on his shoulders, helping him get up to get the belts for the win. This is an all-time match. Like, this is an easy 5-star. And I think the thing for me with this match is that on a show with as much star power and sports entertainment and work rate, you have Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit, you have Undertaker and Triple H, you have The Rock and Stone Cold, you have Vince and Shane, and on a card that is as stacked as this, these 6 guys and these 9 individuals, because I'm going to give Lita, Spike, and Rhino their due too. They stole the fucking show in the biggest WWF show of all time. They absolutely stole the show. This is a slam dunk 5-star.
Yeah.
Following Vince.
5-star. Ollie,
Yeah.
what do you give the match?
everything.
6.
Yeah, five's
It's-
around. Yeah,
it's-
five.
Like,
I got a question.
Okay.
What? There was only one screw up in this match, and it was in a very pivotal freaking. Not pivotal in the match, but it was a standard that the tag team does all the time, and they missed by a foot.
You're talking about the headbutt. What's
that? Missed by
yeah,
a foot.
they were far.
Far as shit. I'm like, there's no way he's hitting that.
And he didn't.
Great camera cut.
camera helped
to
him
save
big time,
it, and
yeah.
they never went back to it.
You're
but
right.
dude, that was a foot short.
It
It was
was.
hilarious.
But what do you give the match, Hack?
Oh, fucking 11.
Okay, that's a fucking 11. Ty?
Yeah, 5.
I mean, I know everybody out there listening has probably seen this, but if you haven't, give it a watch
Just for the
again.
spear spot. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's all timer.
that's an all-time WWE spot.
And how long did it go to?
1550.
They got everything in that
In
they
15
did
fucking
in
minutes.
15
Jesus.
minutes.
Wow, I would have said like 21, 22.
15 they
But
got
I'm
it in.
always freaking on the high
But
side.
this-
I mean, but there was nobody down for a shit. You know, like how we
Shit was
always.
going
I
on,
was shooting
dude.
Yeah.
a 6-man tag with a
That,
table
lines,
ladders,
tires.
And even if those
chairs,
dudes were
ladders.
down, you had like your Rhino and Lita, your Spike and Lita. Like you had that even when those dudes were down. So like to eat up the time that was going to, to give the other guys time to set up a table. Yeah, I was going to say set up a table. But dude, for 15 minutes to get that in 15 minutes, that's insane.
Yeah,
I wish AEW sometimes would take a little bit a page out of this book where it's if you're gonna have 9 matches on the card, you can have 9 good matches. I know I've given 2-star ratings and whatever, but still you can have good matches that are under 15 minutes,
right?
And get your shit in and make it all make sense. Yeah. And it's if one of your big moves doesn't make sense in this match, then you don't have to use it.
Right. And
you can do it another night.
I know this show is long. This was almost 4 hours, the show. It's a long show. But the way that it's paced, to your point, nothing goes too long on this show. And they save the long for
the fit, which was the greatest thing ever.
You know what I mean? They saved the long for the main.
Well, and the only thing that felt long to me was Benoit Angle.
I don't think that felt long to me.
It seemed slow in the beginning.
Yeah, that was the only thing that felt long to me. I was all right, guys, when are we gonna get to something else? For me.
Well, I guess that's probably your point to the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up next on the show was this is Hack a couple weeks ago when I referenced this. The gimmick battle royal. So we
Jesus Christ.
We did our worst gimmicks ever. You had a whole shitload of those guys out there. The gobbledygooker we didn't include. We could have easily had him. The one thing I loved about this, though,
I think I saw her.
I couldn't even figure out who that was.
Hector Guerrero.
I saw her on the corner last
Hector?
weekend.
Yeah.
Hector was the guy sitting across from us in WrestleMania weekend.
There was 900 dudes you say fucking sitting across from us WrestleMania weekend.
Chavo, wasn't that Hector?
Hector Guerrero, yeah. So this match, the best part about this for me was you had Bobby Heenan and Mean Gene Okerlund come back to WWF for the first time in 8 or 9 years. They've been gone. They went to WCW. WCW's out of business at this point. Both of them come back for WrestleMania 17. And just having them on the commentary was awesome. You could tell once Bobby got warmed up a little bit.
You need Bobby for this match.
You need
Bobby.
Bobby.
It's a perfect Bobby match.
The funniest thing is it's just left and right, and so-and-so gets tossed, and so-and-so gets tossed.
Yeah, nobody.
And so-and-so gets
This
tossed.
was not about working at all. It was just about getting some guys on the show.
I was shocked to see the Goon.
The Goon's out there.
Goon getting a payday?
Fuck. Who's the Goon? I can't remember.
Maybe that's the one who I didn't know who was.
Yeah, you had the
Goon getting a payday out there at the Astrodome.
Duke the Dumpster Drozy. You doing
One man gang.
One man gang was awesome.
He took a nice bump on that.
Repo Man.
Yeah, actually, it was a lot worse bump than I thought he should have took.
Kamala, Nikolai Volkov. You had
Tugboat,
Earthquake.
Well, isn't this the one that the only reason the Sheik wins is because he couldn't go over the top rope?
Yeah, it's like you a couple weeks ago where the Indy you were working. You pulled an Iron Sheik.
and nothing says it more than after it's over, Slaughter gets in the ring and puts him in the
after he gets over.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes. I could take Cobra Clutch, but no bump.
Right.
You know?
Cobra Clutch, fine. I do 50 knee bends.
He gets over because he can't take the bump, and the Sarge goes in and puts him in the clutch.
This was cool.
No, but I love that. That was a great way to end it.
Yeah,
I get a pop out of that mess.
Yeah. Well, let's, hopefully WWE brings back a gimmick battle royal eventually. We can get the Sandman.
I'll turn him down, too. Yeah, I'm not going into something.
Yeah, well, you're turning down that page.
Well, you could win. You could go over, Hack. I mean, you could win it. I mean, it's a big...
All those zeros, you'll be on the first flight out.
What time do I leave?
Dude, there's 20 guys in there. You'll be lucky to get 10 G's because they'll put it on second.
Yeah, well, this was fun, though. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a good...
Oh, God.
And it's a good palate cleanser, too, on the
Shut
show.
up, Ollie.
I enjoyed this a lot.
I'll give it a 7.
A 7? I'm not even going to give it a rating because it's whatever. It's the gimmick battle royal. Up next on the show is Undertaker taking on Triple H. So this is Undertaker's streak's not really the thing yet. even though he's 8 or 9-0 at this point.
I think they said 8.
He's 8-0 at this point. It's like known, but it's not like the thing that it becomes in a couple years when it starts to be like that's the thing people
Right, it
watch.
was kind of more or less just like, oh yeah, he's 8-0 in WrestleMania. Like it wasn't like
a couple years from now where it becomes like the selling point of WrestleMania is the Undertaker streak. We're not quite there yet, but this was this is just two guys who know what they're doing and working together and
fighting on another fake stage.
Oh God, the bump that they take off that thing.
But you realize that whole thing was set up for that bump.
Yeah.
That's put in the middle of the crowd, like on the outskirts, of, like if there was like a hockey freaking boards around there, and they built that whole thing. What was there doing 3 soundboards? Oh, they literally had 3 soundboards and 1 small monitor on this freaking table.
Yeah, with nobody there.
Right. Yeah, that was all said. That whole system was set up just for that freaking that bump.
All this stuff always is. You always see like the random table with like cans of like empty cans of like soda on it.
The Ravens match, they were there for that.
Yeah, so like even nowadays,
but I want
I'm talking
people
about.
to realize it.
Yeah, so
I know you guys get
these
it.
guys are going back and forth for a while. Triple H finds his sledgehammer by the timekeeper, but the ref takes it away, which is I like where the placement of that was that's one of the best spots in the match.
Dude, in the beginning of this match, you're just watching two guys that are like they're not doing anything. Like you're just watching them, they're so connected. Like it's so easy they don't do a single thing. Undertaker doesn't do they don't do anything.
Punch, walk, choke,
even
walk, walk.
Even like a small bump, like a hip toss or whatever. Like they're just so in sync and not even breaking a sweat. Like it's just lovely to see. Just two absolute pros doing what they do. Like,
yeah. Triple H does take a choke slam, and then Triple H kicks out of that. Taker then just elbows the referee. And
that was
I had never seen him be a dick like that
I'm
before.
like, did you guys miss a spot or something?
just like,
And
fuck
you were
this
just like,
ref.
oh my God.
Fuck this ref. Drops an elbow on him.
Yeah.
And then the ref's dead for a long period
I
of
was
time.
going to say for like 20
That was
minutes.
a big
Oh my
elbow.
God. Bad.
He really sold that elbow.
That was Charles, right? The blonde-haired guy.
No, I don't think it was Charles
think it was
Robinson.
Kyoto.
Yeah, I think it was Mike Kyoto.
Oh, you're right. It was.
I think it was Kyoto.
You're right. It was.
Yeah, they
Kyoto.
went out.
It's your boy, Kyoto.
They went outside, did their whole spot, came back in, and he was still lifeless.
But the worst thing, the one thing to me is if I'm going to be that ref and I'm going to be laying there, I want my head on the inside of the ring instead of looking at the outside of the ring. Make sense?
Yes. Yes. No, you're right.
I would have rolled the fuck out.
So you don't have your eyes, or you can have your eyes like barely even open, but know what's going on.
Makes sense. So they do the spot over by the staging thing, and the fans, I got to say, the fans were chanting "Holy shit!" So they bought into it. I mean,
Oh, dude, yeah, of
they-
course.
they-
How you gonna know? It's
Yeah.
Undertaker, Triple H.
holy shit, they were marking out hard for that.
well, yeah, and you're 100,000 feet in the air. You have no idea. Like,
Yeah, the concrete floor had many ripples in it, dude. It was a freaking. You know what I'm saying?
It was better before they
It
showed
looked
you.
concrete though when I first saw it.
Well,
Before they did the side angle and it was
like a
folded
black.
over.
It was like a black. It was like a black car rug over
Crash
freaking
mat.
they show you the replay, and the replay killed it. Like
Yeah.
they
Totally.
over a
they
love
should-
sack.
You gotta have somebody. To me, that's something that Kevin Dunn would be great at. Not showing the replay
Yeah.
there. You just don't show it.
They finally get back to the ring, and
Is it that hard to make it like?
Dude, I've been in the truck a couple times.
No. I'm talking about like, don't make it so fluffy. Like, can the guy like, I don't know, put
Dude,
it
it's
like,
fucking.
like-
Yeah, dude. You
know what I'm saying? Like,
mat
looks-
down there for fucking.
But also, too, I don't even know if that match really even needs that spot.
no, I think
Oh, and they spent a lot of time getting to it too.
well, not after
They
everything.
spent 5
not
minutes getting there.
Yeah, but not after everything they had just seen.
I think
You know,
maybe
we
wanted to
say
do
like
something.
watch. You know,
Crowd still popped huge though
Yeah.
on the fucking
Oh, yeah,
initial spot.
100%.
That's all that counts.
So they finally get back to the ring. The ref is still dead. Taker
dead.
Taker uses a tombstone, and then he went for his power bomb. But Triple H grabs the sledgehammer on the way up
Great spot.
and hits Taker in the head. That was a fantastic near fall because the ref came back to
I
life.
thought
at
he
this
missed
point.
him, and I rewound it twice, but I still couldn't see it. Because
No,
there's
it
no
was
like slow mo.
Well, and it was good because his back's towards you, so you can't really tell.
Great camera angle.
And he kind of did a good job
That's
of
why
like
I couldn't
of, like
actually
popping
see.
it, like
Yeah.
not hitting him, but like popping it and make it look like the
Yep.
thing like flew in the air.
Taker's bleeding. Triple H is going to work at the corner, and then Taker grabs him out of nowhere, gave him a power bomb, and then for the pin. So yeah, that was a clean finish there. How long did this one go, Ollie?
18.
18 minutes.
This
So
is the match that felt like
a little long.
to me.
I enjoyed this.
They
I
took
thought it was
long.
good.
They took long on the outside, like to go into the outside and to coming back, like
walk
that
through the
was
crowd.
Yeah,
Forever
that was
to get
long.
to the
Yeah.
spot. That
Yeah.
was like
Yeah,
3,
that was
4,
long.
5 minutes, like brawling right there on those little stands.
It was okay. I'm gonna go 3 1/4 for this one.
I'm gonna go 3.5.
Okay. Hack?
And how awesome is the Undertaker? Like
Oh,
just
yeah.
from being able to go from the dead man to the American Badass riding the fucking Harley
Yeah.
through the
Change
crowd
the
and
times,
still being
very
over,
smart.
and then going back to the dead man and
Yes.
still being over. Like,
Yeah. Hack, what do you give us?
4.
4? Ty?
Yeah, it was 3.5. Yeah, I mean, it was really good. Just watching those two work together, like, so easy watching
Yeah,
them.
this
like,
is yeah, these guys, yeah, there's no chance it wasn't going to be.
yeah,
anything.
it was great. I like the finish too, like the sledgehammer spot, the
Great near
fall,
fall.
yeah, the false, the everything like that.
Agreed.
So
Up next on the show is the match for the
Wow.
WWF
Wow.
World Title between The Rock
Wow.
and Steve Austin, two of the biggest stars in the history of the business, going toe-to-toe in the main event of this WrestleMania. After everything that we've just seen, this is star power, intensity, just absolutely a classic that they delivered.
Dude, the video package before the match.
Oh, with
like,
Limp Bizkit My Way.
It's like
It's one of the best video packages ever.
yeah, like especially after everything you've seen, and it's still like just gets you up. And you're like, all right, dude, we got The Rock and Austin. Like,
I was
let's
sitting
go.
here, that package was going. I was like, I set up, I was a 10. I was like, this is awesome, like straight up. And it's just because both those dudes are so invested and so great at everything they do. Like this match to me, like I don't know if there's a bigger match that like makes you feel the emotions that you feel that you're supposed to feel in a rivalry match, like between how good both of them are. Like I don't know if there's any other match that
With two guys at that level that performed at that level.
yeah, but also
That's
like
how I feel.
yeah, but that also like brings you into both of their personalities. Like you feel both of their personalities. Like I don't know if the like
No, I get it.
what's the
I
word?
love this match.
What's
This
the word
match is
I'm looking
great
for?
stuff.
Like not encapsulated. I don't know the right, but like captures.
Encapsulated?
Encapsulated.
Yeah, encapsulated. Yeah, like every emotion that you could possibly feel from both sides of the spectrum.
That's what was so great
Like,
about it. Yeah, you know what? You're right, because they're both so over.
Right.
They're both so over.
And everything they do, and like just when the camera hits him, like the one guy's like, "Oh yeah, I got this one for you, motherfucker," and then you got this guy, and he's like, "I fucking hate your guts. I'm gonna hit you with it." Like there's so much emotion on both ends of the spectrum, like, and they're just so good. Man.
Yeah, it's like it's not real, but it is. Like because the competition at the top of the card for the top spot in the industry is real. It's just it's a predetermined result. But these two guys were going neck and neck for the top spot in the business. And The Rock at this point, he was leaving shortly after this to go do The Mummy Returns. So it was his first big trip into the Hollywood right here after this match.
What a great move on his part.
I mean, seriously. But he left at the pinnacle
Right.
to go do that.
Yeah.
And became the success that he was in Hollywood. And the booking of this match, the finish, I think, we'll get to that. But, like, this was Ali and Frazier. Rock and Austin, the trilogy that they had at WrestleManias. They did 15, they did 17, they did 19. I think this was their best match. And this was just incredible intensity. And it started from the get-go. Like, Austin going right at him right away. And it was like Austin wrestled this match Like, he had to win the world title. Like, it mattered so much to him. And the way that, like, it played, everything in the match that played into it. Like, if you guys haven't seen this match, I assume you have. But go back and watch this one, too, because this was just absolutely incredible.
I just don't know how you can capture so much, like, emotion and feeling by two guys in one match.
Just from their walkouts. Just from Austin walking out. Like, Austin walks out, and he looks like a motherfucker that's, like, going out to, like, doing a UFC cage walk for a big fight. Or, like,
Yeah.
he has that feeling to him. Like, because it was real to him, like, honestly. Austin goes Austin goes right after him, right at the bell. Rock hits him with a neck breaker. This match, though, I think that part of the thing with the turn that didn't work was, why did you pick Texas, of all places, to try to do this finish in? Austin was going to be the favorite here in this match.
Dude, both of them are the favorites in this match.
I know, but the crowd's with Austin. Like, totally.
It's weird because
But he's trying to get him against him.
Yeah.
He's trying to be the heel.
He's trying.
But dude, that's when you gotta fucking Cactus Jack your fucking intelligence and be like, well, I gotta do the exact opposite to get what I want, not what I think.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes.
and it was
The more hardcore he was, the more they cheered for him.
Which is why a part of why his heel run didn't work really. Is he didn't change his style totally to fit the character. Like, stop doing the things that they wanted to cheer you for.
Should have went back to the ringmaster.
Yeah, slow it down. Like, yes, Ollie.
and it was
yes.
and it was crazy because
Even before that.
yeah, it was crazy because in the beginning of the match I felt like it was Rock, like it was more kind of baby Rock heel, and then Austin kind of went heel and it kind of flipped.
Yeah, the crowd.
Like-
The more he went heel, the more they went cheering for him.
Yeah, like it was.
Which
it
is
was
kind of
strange.
it's kind of the story of the Steve Austin character. Like, the Steve Austin Stone Cold started out as a heel, but the crowd was just cheering his heelish actions, so he became the biggest baby.
Right.
So it's like by trying.
It's called an anti-hero.
Yes, he was an anti-hero, which is, kind of what became popular in
Which
television.
is what I told him to
Which
do.
is what the attitude era, though. The attitude era is kind of all about.
Right, being the anti-authority and all that. So
yeah, good point.
they're brawling outside. Rock hits him with the ring bell, and this is where Austin gigs.
Gig's good.
There was a bad spot where, like, Earl Hebner kind of fell on the steps, and then
and the Rock's like, yo, you all right, dude?
But then he kind of trips and falls on the steps too. That was kind of weird.
I got that in my notes.
So
I'm like, was there supposed to be a bump there? Is it like what I'm like?
well, I think he like accidentally walked Hebner back into the steps and he fell, and then the Rock was like, got down and was like, yo, yeah, my bad, you all right?
well, I think he dropped the blade or something too, because then the Rock, it kind of looked like he
maybe.
picked it up.
Maybe.
That's what I'd put down. I don't know.
All right, I'm glad you mentioned that. You know, both of them gigged twice.
Yeah, because they were more
different
color.
times.
Because
Yeah.
the Rock's early color
of
went
them
away.
gigged
Well,
twice.
because we were watching, Hack was watching it, came down and watched this for the second time, and The Rock gigged and realized he didn't gig good enough. So if you notice, he like kind of jumps himself on the table trying to like gig on the other end of the table, and then the table breaks.
Just breaks.
Yeah,
They didn't get to do the
table
spot on
breaks.
it. Yeah.
And he's got to be like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to gig on the other end of the table so no one can see him, and then the table breaks, and he's like,
And then
fuck.
I think Austin's first gig was in the corner when he fucking pulled down the mat, did it in the corner,
And
he
then
goes right down and he's dipping in his fucking thing, but they're watching The Rock, and that's when Rock goes outside and like grabs a chair and throws
grabs the bell, and then he hits him with the bell, and then
that's right.
and then that's when they
Austin
shows the
gigged
blood.
before he took the bell
great
shot.
color.
Yeah, but he gigged
But
before.
he had it because there was the corner was an exposed fucking
Yeah,
corner.
yeah.
Yes.
Right, but he also knew that he wasn't going to be able to gig after he got hit with the bell in the center of the ring. So you gig before, and then boom.
All right, we're in. Todd just gets me back because I got thrown out of fucking 8th and Market, like Mike Schmidt's bar down there, where Todd was doing shows. I was fucking around afterwards with your mom was there with me, and I said something to the manager or something. But I don't know. So the next time we get back in there, and I'm gigging, and they had like you could like shoot baskets in there and shit like that. And there was one thing where there was like an 8-foot high fence, like the show and freaking what's his name were doing. So I tells Tony Stetson, I'm like, all right. He hits me, and I'm like, all right, throw me into the cage. So I gig before he even throws me into the cage. Like, as he's picking me up off the ground, I got my blade in my... Because his wife used to get her blades for us because she was a surgeon or something in, like, Penn. So we had these real sharp ones that he showed me how to put it in my finger, and it's this quick.
Boom.
Nobody would catch me ever gigging.
Oh, that's awesome. They go back in the ring. Austin went for a stunner, but Rock puts him in the sharpshooter. And then you get a little Austin getting to the ropes. And then this is a no DQ match, too. So then Austin then puts the Rock in a sharpshooter. And they're replaying the classic Bret Hart Austin spot with both them bleeding in the sharpshooter. So it's an homage to that earlier match.
All right, Tosh. I don't even think like that.
Oh, dude, it definitely was. And then... Rock made the ropes. Austin then, this is where he starts to get a little heelish. He like refuses to break the hold. And then Austin then puts on the $1 Million Dream, which is pretty cool because that, again, homage to earlier in his career. He was...
also maybe trying to be more heel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's a good point.
So then Rock runs up the corner, push down for a near fall, which was the same spot that Bret Hart and Austin used in Survivor Series 96. So it's kind of like playing back to like all these old Austin matches.
All right, hold on for a second. So anybody that's listening that wants to be a professional wrestler, I tell other people all the time, watch matches of people and then just repeat. Go in front of an indie crowd with like 150 people and repeat that WrestleMania match. That'll help you get the idea. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people never think like that. Why would I take a match and then replicate the whole match? Because nobody in the crowd's going to know, you idiot. And that will help you learn how to do shit in the ring.
That's funny because I remember, like when we did our show with Joey Janela, he was talking about him and Leo Rush. They were doing a lot of RVD and Jerry Lynn spots in some of their matches, which, you know.
Yeah, that's what you did.
Yeah, nobody's going to be like, oh, wait, that spot, RVD and Jerry Lynn did that, he waved 98.
Only nerds like me would be like that.
And how many one-time spots are there?
That obvious, but like if it's a quick sequence in the ring, nobody's going to know.
No, and you also don't have to do it in the same sequential order.
Right,
like,
you just do it at some point in the match.
Right.
Yeah. Rock hits...
Steal people's shit, you young people. Dude, no, there's no such thing that you could do probably.
As original.
There might be. I saw some shit on the internet today where this one dude was doing a couple original moves I've never seen, but don't be afraid to do whatever you've seen. Don't be afraid to copy people's whole matches.
Rock hits the stunner, which got a really big pop. Austin kicked out. And then out comes Vince McMahon.
Was that the one where the Rock went up and his feet were on the top
This was when Rock gave
Stone Cold the stunner. So Austin, Vince is out there, and then it's kind of people are like, what the heck is this? Austin hits a spine buster, which fucking drilled him with. Then the Rock hit a spine buster in the people's elbow, and then Vince breaks up the count. So Rock chases Vince around ringside.
Oh, I love this.
Perfect. And they chase him back inside the ring, and then Austin drills him with a fucking rock bottom. It was more like a Uranage kind of, like a Samoa Joe kind of, like, that was awesome to see him bust that out. What a
great falls.
Great falls finish. Austin then goes for the stunner. Rock pushed him into the ref, so we get a ref bump here. Austin goes low. And then now you can tell he's in cahoots with Vince. He demands a chair to be held in there, and he holds up Rock from behind, and he told Vince to hit him. Vince then, the ref's finally woken up, and the Rock kicks out of that. Austin then hits him with another chair. Rock ducks that, and then he hits the rock bottom. Vince then distracts the ref. Rock goes over, he just beats on Vince. Austin then hits a stunner on the Rock, and this is where the Rock sells this stunner like $1 million. Could have easily been the finish. Rock kicks out of that, and then Austin just clocks him with a chair, and then the Rock kicks out of the chair. So you're like, what the fuck can take him down at this point?
Well, another 25 chair shots.
And then Austin goes and he delivers, like he beats the Rock into fucking dust with a chair, like 25 chair shots over and over and over for the 3 count. heel turn in the main event of the biggest WrestleMania ever. Horrible finish. I didn't like I love the finish actually with the chairs, but I hated the turn. But I love the match. Like, this is an all-time classic match. I want to give it 5, but because of the whole Vince and Austin turn, I just can't give it 5. I'm going to go 4 3/4 stars for it. Ollie, what do you give it?
5.
Yeah, I'm being
Even though,
nitpicky.
like, the turn didn't work, dude, it's 5.
I know, it's amazing. It's truly amazing. Hack, what do you give it?
Wait a minute. Is this angle reminiscent of what just happened with fucking The Rock and
Cena?
Austin?
And Cena, you mean?
Yeah, and Cena. It kind of is. I don't know. I never even thought about it until you were just like wrapping shit up. And I was like, wait a minute.
A little, but they didn't do it. Like, if they chose to do...
It wasn't really built up that way.
So
Well, it doesn't matter, but it's almost on the same freaking square.
if you chose to do Cody and Cena at Mania and not do the turn and then...
Before.
And do it at Mania with The Rock.
Yes,
you
that's
could
what
have
I was
done.
thinking also.
You could have done this, and I think it could have done it to work and really, really work. And I think the Cena turns kind of the follow up on it hasn't been great in my opinion. But what do you give this match? What do you on this?
11.
You loved it.
Oh my God, how can you not love this match?
I know.
I was literally sitting on the edge of my bed. Usually I'm relaxed, I'm fucking laying on like 10 pillows. Dude, I'm on the edge of my bed right here watching this shit.
It was incredible. Just incredible.
Because it was that good.
Yeah, it really, really, truly was.
And you're just an idiot or you don't know wrestling if you don't know that was one of the best matches ever printed.
Yeah.
Ty?
Yeah, I gotta go 5. I don't love the belt change with the heel turn. You know, like I'm kind of with you on that. I don't necessarily for those two.
I shouldn't hold the work against the booking, but it plays into it to
Well,
me.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
It's just under 5.
I don't love the Austin's a big enough star where he shouldn't need, a Vince to help him with the heel turn against The Rock. So like I get what you're saying, like as far as the booking, but I mean the whole thing in general is just way too good.
The one thing I would say about that is I don't believe that Austin was like a real heel. You know what I'm saying? It's like Austin, they were both just so over. I didn't.
No, I'm
care.
saying he was like trying to turn heel because obviously he was getting
Yes.
helped by Vince.
Austin wanted to turn heel too, like personally. He thought he was losing steam as a babyface, and he wanted to go heel.
Yeah, okay, but the thing is, I don't care about that. You know The Rock's leaving anyway. You don't even have to do the Austin turn right there.
No, I don't
You're
think you
losing a
should've.
huge baby face anyway. Why take your next largest baby face and make him a heel in the match?
I agree.
And it's also
kinda
interesting
like
that
that.
Vince kind of like got beat up earlier in the night, took the Van Terminator,
Well,
and
that
then
was
he's
his
back.
comeback.
And then, so
I don't know,
Which is a
but I
little
don't
strange,
think
but-
if you know you're losing The Rock to a movie, I don't think you need to lose your 2 huge baby faces in one night.
Well, you did, and part of their business went down. Big.
You
went
called it,
down.
dude.
You called it. You called it, Hack. I mean, geez.
you saw the heel turn.
Overall, though, guys, I mean, I know
You
I
said you told Austin, anti here.
I know I said it last week. I think this is the greatest WrestleMania ever, top to bottom. This is an incredible
It's
card.
close.
I mean, I don't know what other ones I would throw up there, but
Dude, I mean, I got 2 all-time matches in the TLC and
the main event.
the main event.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's
Yeah, because you kind of have to think about it like that. All right, you could have had your shit with your Mr. T's, your Piper early and stuff like that, but the rest of the card, there was no work going on whatsoever. Like the way we perceive wrestling right now. So yeah, this is like the start of like shit's on now.
Yeah, but like Eddie and Test isn't bad, but Angle Benoit's not bad.
But they're way more wrestling than you've seen in 5 WrestleManias before that. You know what I'm saying?
there's
Yeah.
nothing bad on
You're
the
seeing
show,
plumbers
really.
5 years before that.
No, I mean you got the 6-man.
Right, those
You
are
got the
throwaway.
6-man. You got the
Battle
Battle Royal.
Yeah, and
whatever.
then China and Ivory.
And then, which is it is what it is. But
Yeah, but you got maybe one of you have 2. One of them's a top angle ever, and one of them's a top 10 ever.
Yes. So, awesome show. If you guys have never seen it, definitely check it out. Next week on the show, we are reviewing ECW Three-Way Dance from 1995. Hack, you took on your boy Shane Douglas on the card. So.
Yeah, I fucked him up real bad.
It's because he was talking too much.
He's trying to give you a history lesson.
Wait, what are we watching?
ECW Three-Way Dance from 1995. Listen, great reaction.
Like we told.
What did I do?
Well,
In a three-way?
You took on Shane Douglas. It
Like
wasn't
we
a
told-
How
three-
do I have a three-way with me and
The
shit?
show's called Three-Way Dance.
Oh.
You didn't have a three-way. There's a
Did I
three-way.
win the belt
Yeah,
from
never
him?
have, never
Oh,
will.
shh, I don't want to spoil it for you, bud.
Oh, good. I hope it is the one I win the belt from him, that
There we go.
loser. Yes, Shane, you loser.
Listener questions, as always, send in to sandmanpod@gmail.com. Please leave a name and a town. That's all Hack asks
God
for.
damn it.
Uncle Howard writes in.
Hey, Howie.
It's the king of all fans, Uncle Howard. Tosh, you recently said you would only give Carino Dusty 3 stars because they didn't do enough moves or whatever, but then you had absolutely nothing bad to say about it. Would you also say the best banana you ever had is worse than a mid piece of banana bread because the bread has more ingredients and took more effort to make? You mark, you utter rube. My best wishes to all the
You utter
Fullertons.
Rube.
Yeah.
Good job. I love Rubes.
Wow. Uncle Howard, I would say, I don't know. I said I enjoyed the match. It just didn't have a lot of moves, though.
I know, but what's the banana bread part?
He said, would you say the best banana you've ever had is worse than a mid piece of banana bread because the bread has more ingredients and took more effort to make? So that's, I think, yeah, just look.
It's basically.
Dude, I eat more bananas than anybody you've ever met in
If
your
you
life.
read the first part of the. If you read
Wow,
the
is
first.
there
Yes.
bananas in my bag every second of every day?
Yeah.
I think
How
he's. I
many
think
you
what
eat?
he's saying is that I only gave it 3 stars because they didn't do enough moves. I didn't give it 3 stars because they only didn't do enough moves. I just thought it was just okay, but it was awesome. I love that match. 3 stars is
What
good.
match is he talking about?
Carino and
The
Dusty.
Carino and Dusty.
They didn't do any moves. They didn't have to.
Yeah, they didn't do anything,
You don't
but it
have
was
to
still
do moves.
great, yeah.
You don't have to do
Yeah,
moves.
we all
Devin.
still put it over because it's Dusty.
And it was great. I loved it. So fuck you, Uncle
You
Howard.
loved it a little bit longer.
Bob from
Shots fired, bitch.
Bob
But
from
hold on, Howard, come back with something besides cooking because I'll crush you when it comes to any cooking things, dude.
How you doing?
Where the banana and the bread part, I don't know.
Bob from Broomball writes in,
Bobby!
Hack and the Heartbreakers, what's cracking?
That's a new one.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Just watch Maryland crash in a buzzer-beating winning shot to advance in the tournament.
What a shot.
And it
know.
got me thinking the parallels with wrestling. I love a good wrestling tournament. If wrestling had a March Madness, who would be the final 4 of active wrestlers today? I'd say Cody, Ospreay, Omega, and
Dude,
Darby.
that's a show. That's the last show we should do with the guys in Philly.
Oh, March Madness?
That's a great show, Bobby.
Okay.
If there was a March Madness of wrestling, and you got both companies,
Okay, so you throw in 64 people, you rank them?
well, I don't know if we got to do that.
Sure we
might
do.
We might do a March Madness.
Listen, Iditarod and Escobar can't be 1 seeds, all right?
It's his bracket. He can do what he wants with it. He also says he would have Darby Allin as a Cinderella story. He gets mowed down by Ospreay in the finals. That's pretty funny.
Wait, a Cinderella story?
Yeah, it's like a 12 seed Darby Allin, like just catching
then
fire.
he just gets crushed.
Yeah, he gets crushed. That's
I
pretty
don't
funny.
like that. And it wouldn't hurt Darby at all.
No. Also,
Yeah, Cinderella, dude.
Also, I can't recommend rosin edibles enough. They're available at your local dispensary. Wow. They had me seeing the lizards. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Dude, okay, tell me more about the rosin edibles next week. I'm begging you.
Is that on the pitcher's mound in MLB in the rosin bags? They got the rosin edibles?
Josh from Braintree, Massachusetts writes in, hey, sandbaggers, before I get to my question, I just want to say a couple things. The Celtics do not own the Garden. The Bruins do. But the team absolutely should be worth big money. They have 18 championships, which is the most in NBA history, while the Cowboys only have 4 and haven't won since Clinton was getting tossed
Yeah,
off.
the Cowboys have a stadium that'll fit 10 of yours,
Oh.
and they make probably 50 times more money.
He said the Cowboys only have 4 and haven't won since Clinton was getting tossed off in the Oval Office, so put some respect on it. To my question, Living Dangerously had that great spot with the boys' mom and Rhino, which I always thought added a lot to the atmosphere of ECW. How do you guys feel about women not being allowed involvement in physical spots like that anymore with men? I always thought it added a sense of danger and anybody can get it vibe to wrestling that's missing in today's product. I'm not advocating violence against women at all, but it bothers me that wrestling is held to a different standard than other media that isn't allowed to tell stories like that because people can't separate fact from fiction in 2025. No one is mad at De Niro, the actor, for playing the piece of shit Max Candy in Cape Fear, so why wrestling? Keep up the good work, fellas, and I went with Florida when we won the two... I was at Florida when we won the 2 national championships with the great Celtic Al Horford. Ugh.
Fuck him.
I hate Horford,
I hate
that
him too.
spy.
Yeah, and his hooker sister.
And way to go, Jade.
This hooker.
He said, I hate his sister too. He said, and way to go, Jade. You finally hit your finish and it wasn't even a match you were in. So how do you guys feel about like spots towards women from men? I think
I mean, I get it for like WWE and like the kids aspect because they're more like children kind of like driven. But like AEW, I mean, Marina Shafir needs the Spicoli driver through a table.
Yes.
Like,
we were-
immediately.
Who's that?
Marina Shafir. We were
Girl
watching.
from Moxley.
We were watching one show. Remember when it was Christian's? What's her name? It's God, I'm losing my mind right here.
Nick Young's mom?
Nick Wayne's
Wayne.
mom.
Nick Wayne.
And
Nick
we were
Young.
rooting for her to
Swaggy
get.
P.
We were rooting for her to get Juice to do something to her through a table because the spot was right there, and you should have done it.
Oh, was that when she was on the apron?
She was on the apron. I'm
yeah,
waiting
I was
for
like,
it.
I was begging
Put her
to
through the
put her
table.
through the table. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like it's fine for heat, but I understand why they don't. But I think it's a really good heat
Well,
spot.
I mean, like on the indies, you see, like GCW has women versus men matches.
Oh,
Intergender.
Well, I was just gonna say,
so
I
it's
think
like-
there's too many women workers for it to like really generate much heat,
Yeah,
or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where are you gonna find? I mean, a Nick Wayne's mom is
Perfect.
would
Valet,
be a perfect,
a valet.
yeah, right? Like, so,
it
yeah,
has to be a
something like
non-worker.
right, exactly.
Or it would have to be
but
a
I
really
just
big
think,
guy. You
right,
know,
but
like
I just think that's why it's probably not done as much anymore, is because there's so many women workers around that it's, you know, where it's hard to find that spot in order for you to get like significant heat. I think.
That's true. Inbred Ed from Shinson, West Virginia writes in.
Hey,
I know you guys hate the Celtics, but if you haven't watched yet, Celtic City.
we're watching.
Dude, we
Celtic
actually just
City on
watched the
HBO
first.
Max.
Me and Heck just watched the first 2, and Ollie just watched the first 2 episodes on HBO.
Yesterday.
I got to check it out. I know Bill Simmons produced it. He usually puts out
very
some pretty
good.
good stuff.
Oh, is it Bill Simmons?
Yeah.
Well, no wonder it's so good.
And it's Celtics.
No,
I mean,
yeah, no. Listen, we hate the fucking Celtics,
But it's the history of the NBA.
Yeah, right.
It's the
like
history.
we were
You
all
gotta
in.
fucking
We watched.
get on your knees and freaking bow.
You can't tell the history of the NBA without the Celtics. I mean,
Yeah,
let's be
what was
real.
it? 9 straight titles that they won
With Bill
or
Russell?
11 and
11
or no,
out of 13.
11
That's
out of
crazy.
13 years they won. Yeah, and it was like the last person said the Boston Bruins owned the arena and they just basically created an NBA league because they had the arena.
All the hockey owners were basketball owners because they needed their arena filled. Because
Makes
all
sense.
they could get is Ice Capades and Ringling Brothers besides that.
You
know
want
what
to try
I
to
mean?
get another 35, 40 times a year to get the building used.
Right,
That
and
makes
basically
sense.
the boss, whoever owned the Boston Bruins, basically gave it to Auerbach and was like, "Listen, you're the coach, GM, whatever. Like,
You're
do whatever
everything.
you want. Yeah, do whatever you
Freaking
want." Like,
red. And look what he turned it into.
yeah,
Trust me, I was about to puke watching it. But
No, I mean, I know the history.
it's the history. It's the history of basketball. It's still the Celtics.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, dude.
Oh, like they didn't.
so
beat
he
the
can't hate
Sixers
the
last-
Celtics just because he didn't watch them lose in the finals
Well,
like you
no,
did.
just because it's only been a couple. You know what I'm saying?
He's still
I
allowed-
lived
Acting like
it
you were
for
watching when
15
Kuzi was
years.
dominating.
No, I was watching it when in the 1980s there was only 4 teams that went to the finals: the Supersonics, the Eagles, the Sixers, Boston, and freaking LA.
That's crazy.
Dude, only 4 teams in 12, and that's 12 years.
Yeah, the Sixers are lumped in there, aren't they? Where are they?
Yeah,
now?
but we won one. That was it.
83.
And still haven't won since.
All right, we were up 3. No, was it 3-3? Philadelphia Spectrum.
Well, that's
they
done.
didn't have Jabbar starting.
Magic jump center.
lit us the frick up for like 50 that
And he jumped center. He jumped center.
Man.
Yeah, my dad always talked
He
about
even
that
hit
too.
a couple skyhooks.
He says early
Yeah,
86ers.
Joel Embiid's knee is fucking a piece of fucking horror comedy. Okay? So,
He said early 86ers are a huge part of it. Alabama's his title pick, but he said his bracket's beat up otherwise. And he said, speaking of basketball, Hack, random, but in ECW Prime days, who was the best pickup basketball player
Oh,
in the
me,
locker room?
obviously.
I know.
gonna say him.
Besides you, Hack, who was the best pickup player?
Nobody.
Nobody?
Dude, you'd be so shocked at how little all these dudes could dribble a basketball. That's why I always say basketball players are your best athletes on the planet easily.
Honestly, this is like a little apropos, but probably the next best athlete was maybe Simon Diamond.
It's a baseball player, yeah.
I think
Yes,
he was like a minor
yeah.
league baseball player or something like
he
that.
was.
Like,
Exactly. But he couldn't dribble basketball.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
None of them
he
could.
would take you to the rack,
Dude,
dude.
I was shocked. I was
Just
shocked
dream
at what
shit.
these dudes couldn't really do. They weren't sports players.
Well, speaking of Simon
all
Diamond,
of them. How
Simon
many
Diamond
sports
would
did you
Euro
do,
step
Jack?
your ass so bad.
Speaking of Simon Diamond, Ed says he's 5'10", 165, ripped, chiseled, and jacked.
All right, well, I said 160 his first day in ECW, so you're wrong, I'm right.
Phil from Kent, Southeast England writes in, hi everyone, thanks for all the insights and fun
Southeast
listening.
England?
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for listening.
I recently read Sabu's book and he talks about some awkward situations in Japan with quote-unquote sponsors, the wrestling-loving Yakuza. For example, Sabu angered some who were ringside and Mike Awesome had to come to his real-life rescue. Did Sandman-san ever have any awkward moments or run-ins with the Yakuza when touring there?
No, but I was very close. One of the first nights I was there, I'm in there for Ibaragi. He was like this young guy, trying to start a new organization there. Because there was shit, Pride was just going under, I think, and like this was like 96. There was some things that were falling out, other companies coming up, like Oneida, FMW, had just been getting started and stuff, and I went to, and we're doing a house show, and we're beating the shit out of each other, but the guy who paid for the match, somebody came back to the locker room and said, this guy wants to take a picture with you. So I'm thinking, all right, this Japanese dude, I want to make an impression. I almost walked up to, I remember he had this gorgeous girl next to him, and I almost walked up and I wanted to pick her up for a picture. Thank God I didn't, dude. Ralphie told me, freaking, oh, dude, you could have been killed for doing something like that. Yeah, I was very close to doing something stupid, but I didn't do it. Like, thank God.
Well, there you go, Phil. That was Hack's one almost run-in with the Yakuza.
The first and only shot that he didn't do something stupid, I think, probably.
Dude, I can't believe it. I can't believe I did. I wanted to pick her up and like just put her in my arms because I thought they would think that was cool.
Right.
And Ralphie's like, no, dude.
Brent from
You might have
Springfield,
got
Missouri
shot.
writes in, hey fuckers, thanks for taking my first question. You guys are awesome. Had to skip ahead to listen, and now it's back to the older episodes. I do enjoy hearing you guys talk shit about both the Celtics and the Eagles, knowing how that turns out. Doing a little research, and I have two questions for the Sandman. What wrestling move would you realistically employ in a bar fight?
A cane over the head.
The eye poke.
I was just going to say the eye poke.
A knee to the balls?
Yeah, but a cane over the head would be the pool stick. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And throwing pool balls, dude, I never lost. Dude, you whip pool balls at people, fucking, that will clear a fucking bar. That will clear a bar, dude. I've done it.
Speaking from
Just
experience
started
there.
whipping pool balls at people.
And he also said, what wrestling move would be unrealistic in a bar fight, but would look devastating in a movie bar fight?
A power bomb.
F5.
A Canadian destroyer?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know, 85% of them probably.
Yeah, you're not seeing anybody.
Canadian destroyer, that's a good one.
He said, thanks again.
Thanks,
Drummy from Bryan Street Tavern
Drummy.
writes in.
Jimmy!
Yo, 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 Sandy and crew, happy Wet Puss Wednesday.
It's Thursday, bitch.
I guess you're all dried up?
Why are you guys popping for wet pussy? What is that?
It's great. great. Are you kidding me?
Dude, that's a great line.
He usually says Thong Thursday. I don't know what's next, but let us know when you write us in on a Friday, Drew. Whatever you have there, Drummy. Been busy AF at the tavern lately. Hack, I didn't know you were an Entourage fan. It's my favorite show. What is your favorite episode? Pretty good podcast so far, boys. Keep up the good work.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jimmy.
man. Appreciate it.
There's 8 zillion episodes, but probably the best thing about the whole show is when Drama gets caught jerking off and sends the video out to everybody on the universe, and then he ends up on like the side of a cliff or something like that, and fucking somebody says something to him, or he gets signed for a deal or something. He's ready to like end his life.
And
There's so many.
he yells out victory.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the episode where it's right after Aquaman, and they're trying to see it in the movie theaters, and the power keeps going out, and they end up
because they're in the valley.
yeah, they end up hanging out with like a bunch of high school dweebs and like
That's
partying with
right
them.
at the party. Yeah,
That was a great
That
episode.
is a good one.
And I like when they go to Vegas too. So Vegas, baby,
Joshua
Vegas.
Tree.
Joshua
Ari,
Tree,
dude. Ari's
and they're
the best.
tripping. Yes, there you go, Hack. Yeah, I love Entourage, man. Great show, great question, Drummy. Next week on the show, we have ECW Three-Way Dance from April 1995.
I was a beast.
But before we go, Hack, the Cane of the Week and the Toast of the Week.
No, I only got one toast of the week. It's Philadelphia Phillies for at least winning opening day.
There we go, 162-0.
Yeah. Peace.
Peace.
Ain't it foggy outside?